de Uruguay. Performer. It was amazing. So, would you get a copy of my book when it's available?
¿Qué pasó con todos, Alberto?
¿Cómo?
¿Qué pasó con toda la gente?
No, se cayó el espacio cuando necesité, no tenía casi batería y estaba en cero y no cargaba. Y nada, le dije vuelvo en 5 o 10 minutos y cuando volví se cayó el espacio.
Ah, ok. Me gustó el de la mañana, en el que estaban hablando de NFTs y todo el progreso y todo. Está bueno ese.
Espera. ¿Estamos hablando de NFTs y cómo salvar al mundo?
Sí, estaba bueno ese.
Okay.
Estaba interesante.
Todo al final. Ok. Te voy a hacer escuchar el final de cómo terminó eso, que cambió todo después hablando con determinada persona sobre mi preocupación. Me dijo que sí, que creía que ya sabía qué grupo de personas eran. Déjame, ahora estoy bajando en formato MP3 todos esos espacios. Espera que estoy copiándolos, pegándolos, así los guardo como MP3, los publico en los eh, podcast platform
¿O
y
se grabó ese?
sí, se grabó ese y solamente vas a escuchar cómo termina y te pido que saques tus conclusiones. Dame un segundito que estoy importando los espacios. Ok, me see. Ah, what is We Discover Space, ese también. Ah, no, ese no. Ah, sí, este ya está. Ah, ok, Film Squad, este sí. Ah, no, este es para video. Ok, perfecto, convert, no, no. Ok, déjame bajar como MP3 y puedo bajarlo ya, ¿no? Bueno, lo escucho directamente acá. Bueno, ok. Ah, lo escuchamos de aquí y tú sacas tus conclusiones. Como algo que venía tan, para mí, inocente palomita. Todos los días me acuerdo, aprendo nuevas cosas. Ok. ah, Veamos. Spaces.
También me gustó uno que grabaste, no sé dónde, pero no parecía uno de tus espacios, era uno de
Los
APIs.
Dix, bueno, imagínate, creo que estás haciendo referencia a creativity and marketing and somebody talking with a genius from the Dick industry or something like that. ¿Ese?
No, it was APIs. It was a good one.
No, bueno, eso realmente, sí, esos espacios esos son realmente espacios de ciberseguridad, no hay nada de bromas, es decir, son espacios educativos 100%. Eso
Ah,
sí, eso están
ese sí,
buenísimos.
ese sí me gustó, ese era
Sí.
pura información y estaba bueno porque estaba diciendo como muchos detalles buenos. Ajá,
Sí,
interesantes.
está realmente como forma educativamente, sí, es fabuloso. La verdad, comparto contigo. Si quieres aprender sobre ciberseguridad, espacios que sean con ese estilo son los más valiosos, sin duda, sin duda, sin duda.
Sí,
Ok.
además, a veces como si hago una website y dicen, tiene que tener esto, ¿verdad? Tiene que tener, make sure everything's hash, make sure everything's this, make sure, all this. It's good to know that porque luego we can mitigate it, right? Yeah.
Sí, exactamente, mitigar. Bueno, el espacio duró 3 horas, How to Save the World. Vamos a llegar al final, donde alguien, bueno, una de las personas que seguimos en contacto después porque le dije, ¿podés creer lo que pasó? Y nos salíamos de nuestro asombro y quedamos hablando. El tipo es Benny, que estaba ahí, que el loco que hablaba de esto. No sé si tú estabas en ese momento que hablaba que viajó a México, que estuvo en México usando este servicio que yo lo comparé con Couchsurfing, esta persona, que al final pregunta, ok, no me queda claro cuando hablaste de tu proyecto, yo estaba paseando los perros y escuché más o menos cómo era, pero no me quedó muy claro algo que era sobre cómo funcionaba en términos de la idea de, ok, darle la mayor cantidad de profits a la gente que apueste por el proyecto y que tenían a esta persona, no me acuerdo ahora el nombre, que era la especialista, que nunca estaba ahí disponible en trading, con criptomonedas y ganar. Bueno, la pregunta que hizo, que no la entendieron en principio, fue, ok, ¿qué? básicamente te la traduzco a lo que yo le pregunté, si interpreto bien, lo que tú estás preguntando es ¿qué valor agregado da este proyecto en diferencia a que yo vaya directamente con mis ahorros a contratar a una persona como ella y le diga, bueno, invertirlo vos que sabés y dame los mayores profits de esto? No me queda claro cuál es el diferencial, qué es lo que hace este proyecto diferente. Escucha la respuesta. Vamos a ver.
Like NFT that literally tells that, oh, this is an authentic product and stuff. And I just have to store it. So it's like every time I buy something, which is...
Espera, ok. Dame un segundito es mucho más fácil el MP3 que directamente de aquí de
Sí,
la web.
se oía perfecto. Ah.
No, pero el tema es que no podía avanzar.
It's authentic because it's it's on the blockchain and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, like it's the real one.
Espera que estoy avanzando, dale segundos.
Yeah.
Question, bro. You said like when you.
Espera que estoy llegando al final. Ese era al final que se pudre, cambia en un segundo todo.
Okay.
Exactly.
But what the variables around X.
That was advertisement for my project that's minting.
No, I was introducing it to the other child, the Franklin thing. So
that's lovely.
Yeah, they were asking.
That's lovely. Thank you. Yes, we are cheap, but we have quality in our heart. So Benny and Uni, I don't know. Benny was up there before. I don't know if Benny talked. I didn't hear his beautiful voice. But I think he's back with his dog, or he's still walking now.
No, I already came back from the lovely walk. No, I just wanted to kind of touch on two things. First, with Endgame, it's interesting. It's quite a philosophical question, right? If you want to preserve our knowledge and humanity for, in the future, but then we have to ask, will they be able to read what we make? If do they have the technology? And well, hopefully, that's we struggled with with the Egyptians and all those, and all the other stuff. Because and as you can see, I'm more of like a Stoic philosophy. I like to read that. And Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, he said, the world is cycles, and it's all happening. And how many empires have collapsed in history, and this will too, right? So at one point, you've got to ask yourself, and how much, how much do you want to preserve, and who's going to read it, right? And is there someone who's going to be able to read it? You can save it, but at one point, if you manage to live really in the now, then you can get the most out of it. I think that's the best focus in my case. But I also wanted to, because I kind of, as on my walk, I had to leave the room, and I heard your elevator pitch, which is, I don't know how many people pointed to that, but just to kind of, see if I heard it correctly.
Okay,
it's basically you buy the NFT project, so
Berito, dame un segundo. Daniel, Berito, wow, qué gusto, qué honor tenerte aquí. Bienvenida. Estamos hablando de algunos temas que capaz no te interesan, pero si quieres agarrar el micrófono, wow, sonó un poco vulgar. Si quieres hablar, no hay problema. Ahora, hablando de vulgares, apareció Coffee. Todos aquí hablamos español en este momento, parece rarísimo. Berito, si quieres hablar, me encantaría escucharte. Veo tus posts constantemente. Wow. Ok. Ok. Coffee, I didn't want to talk. No quería hablar contigo, quería hablar con Berito. ¿Qué haces aquí, Coffee? Por favor, en los espacios de los salvadoreños no fue que saliste por error. Los hijos de puta te sacaron del espacio. Los hijos de puta ven a una persona desconocida y la quiquean de uno. O sea, es como...
No me quieren.
No quieren a nadie que no sea conocido, o sea, es una mezcla de paranoia o secta o grupo estilo masones, Skull and Bones, no sé, nada, no te preocupes, no fuiste tú. Creo que también quiquearon a Samantha, a Boston todos los que, las personas, a Daniel, creo que a Daniel también lo quiquearon de ahí, que lo vi en un momento y después desapareció cuando estaba en el espacio de Cíclope o algo así. Te vi un momento y después desapareciste. Asumo que te quiquearon del espacio.
Sí, ese fue el espacio de NFTs y todo eso. Ese no fue el otro
no,
espacio.
Estoy hablando de un espacio en castellano de gente de del Salvador.
No, ese no era el espacio que me quitaron. Me quitaron de el otro día que estaban hablando de NFTs y toda esa mierda.
¿Cómo esa mierda? Pero para empezar, ¿cómo esa mierda? Segundo, ¿qué espacio? Si puedes darme más detalles, porque eso no me gusta. Pues si te quiten tu motivo.
De Salvador estaba bien, porque yo me fui porque todo el mundo estaba cantando y no quiso cantar.
No, pero antes tú me mandaste el mensaje, me sacaron, me quitaron del espacio.
Sí, ese fue otro grupo temprano.
Es básicamente el mismo conjunto de gente que se maneja igual. Son un grupo muy cerrado y no aceptan a nadie que no conozcan, son muy perseguidos. Eso es lo mismo que estaban hablando estas dos mujeres, la host y la co-host, y me estaban preguntando, estaban interrogando, haciendo preguntas de seguridad y demás. Creo, no sé si llegué, a qué punto llegaste, en qué punto llegaste, bueno, no recuerdo, pero tu mensaje lo recibí y se lo mandé a otra persona que me... Nada, no importa. Pero no, te digo, no.
No, yo sé, está bien, mira, está bien.
No te lo tomes como nada personal porque...
No lo tomé personal, pero lo encontré el chiste porque yo estaba solamente oyendo.
O sea, imagínate, la preocupación es que no se meta gente desconocida a escuchar sus conversaciones. Loco, abro un incógnito browser, incógnito mode, copio la URL del espacio, entro, escucho lo que quiero, lo grabo y nadie se da cuenta. O sea, por favor, estúpidos, si quiero escuchar lo que están diciendo, no tengo ni que entrar al espacio.
Claro, pero eso está bien.
No te lo tomes, sí, esa es la idea, no tomárselo como nada personal.
No lo estoy tomando personal, por supuesto.
Que lo sé y está buenísimo porque mucha gente, he quiqueado mucha gente de espacios y realmente cuando esa gente que he quiqueado me empieza a mandar mensajes exigiéndome respuestas de por qué lo quiqueé, bla, bla, bla. Ok, no tengo que darte ninguna explicación, o sea, vos sabrás lo que hiciste. Hay veces en los cuales he quitado a personas y me he dado cuenta que actué de forma capaz demasiado precipitada y bueno, me disculpé realmente, o sea, a veces, bueno, las veces que de forma accidental quiquea a gente que conozco, he quiqueado he quiqueado a casi toda la gente del grupo de forma accidental en algún momento.
Hola.
Hola,
Benito.
Alberto, la verdad es que para mí el tema ya está corto. Ya, ese fue ese día.
No, fue anecdótico porque justo me mandaste ese mensaje y la persona que cuando yo entré dijo, no, Alberto está bien, Alberto, no, todo bien con Alberto, era una uruguaya que estaba ahí. Y porque ella dijo eso no me quedaron porque...
no, te mensajé porque no sabía por qué exactamente, eso es todo.
No importa, ya está. ¿Cómo estás, Berito?
Estoy muy bien, gracias. Gracias por el micrófono.
No, acá no se agradece nada. Gracias a ti por aceptar el micrófono. ¿Tienes problemas para dormir como todos nosotros, veo?
Sí, tengo muchos problemas con Morfeo.
Bueno, yo tengo muchos problemas en general en la vida, pero bueno, problemas tenemos todos.
Sí.
Nada, o sea, me encantan tus posts, siempre en mi timeline. Es decir, es inevitable ver tu imagen de perfil, es una imagen que uno la ve y no captura la atención de la gente, es como algo psicópata que, no sé, que uno ve esa imagen y se queda como, "Ah". Está buenísima, está buenísima.
Bueno, gracias.
Bueno, sí, en realidad te lo digo porque estoy locazo, pero capaz que a otra persona les asusta. No, ¿de dónde eres tú? ¿De Uruguay, Argentina?
Sí, soy de Argentina.
De Argentina, ok. No, no, no,
Ya vengo, tengo que hacer algo
ok, ok.
en un rato.
Bueno, no hay problema. Puedes venir cuando quieras, eres más que bienvenida. Oh my God. Ok. No, estábamos con, hola, eh, gente que apareció, Susana dice, and, ok, and, ok, goodbye Susana, no, no sé qué pasó. Ronaldo, oh my God, Ronaldo cariñoso, oh meu Deus. Ok, Ronaldo se fue, no. Ronaldo, ok, le iba a hacer escuchar a Daniel una cosa. Escucha a Daniel esto.
Token holder to create a fund where Celine does the investing, she does the trading, and that's how we make money?
No, she just does the trading with the cryptos, right? So that's just the part of it. That's not all of it.
So as an investor, how would the money be generated? Can you explain
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I said, a part of the funds will go, like for example, let's say we have $5,000, right? Let's say we would put 1 or 2 grand of that to CD, not everything. So we still have some money for NFTs and tokens, fun things. Okay. So that will be still enough to work, so she can do it, we both can do our things, and it doesn't stop anybody. But it's not all in one thing.
Okay, no, I just wanted but the money will be made from Celine's efforts, right? The rest, as you said, is for fun.
I'm telling you honestly, Celine also doesn't do it for free, right? If she makes us money, 30% she takes from the money she makes us. So we get 70, she gets 30, right? I mean, it's fair, but I'm just saying, obviously she also wants fair. Nobody's making things here for free. But she will be part of the money-making machine, but not all of it.
Okay, and what would be, because I'm just looking at it from an investor, like we talked about earlier, right? So just someone who wants to make money. So if I before I put my money in, would I be able to see the ROI of Celine? Like, what is the return, the yield that she has? Just the thing is, these are the things that if you pitch it to someone who wants to invest, these are the things that they might want to know, right? So, you want to know, okay, because I don't know Celine, and I don't know her record, so that's something that I would want to know before I put my money in. And also, the other forms of making money, what would their yield be, and what would they be like? Because as Alberto said, it's really, I love how you were honest and upfront with this fact that this is a project to make money, to make as much money for everybody involved. But I just wanted to kind of, see if you could elaborate on that, or if that's something, if I were to invest, if I would be able to, get the data and get, all the information that I wanted to know. And not as a criticism, right? This is just kind of, to ask some difficult questions, to maybe not even that difficult. But
let me try to see if I understood. Basically, you're trying to figure out what makes it different from any other, what is the added value of this? Why wouldn't I go actually to go directly to Celine, or somebody who has the skills of Celine to get more money for my money? Basically, that's what you're wondering.
Yeah, because if you look at it, it's basically like a actively traded mutual fund, right? So we put our money together, we have it to a trader, and Celine trades it. Whether we have the NFT as a receipt that we paid it, and then I can ask, okay, but I want all of my money to be traded by Celine, right? So I can get more return. Is that also a possibility? That's just what I wanted to ask, because I was thinking about it on the walk, and I was like, it is pretty much like a actively traded fund, right? That's what it is. And Alberto has, the perfect question. What does it offer extra for me to say, I'm going to go into this project, or I'm going to go into another one? I'm just this is something maybe you to get your message clearer, you get your the project out there. If someone comes and they say, I want to why should I put more money in you? What is the difference?
No terminó, esperen. No, just I think he's putting that question is something that everybody who before investing would ask you directly.
I don't mean to.
Yeah, we just need to play this. Okay, let's try the answer. Let's listen to the sound of silence. I can, then I can. No, I cannot. I will. Okay, you go ahead and you do me. You have your hand raised. Go ahead if you want to speak. Are you there? Oh my God!
Yeah,
I feel so guilty.
I just wanted to,
let's change the topic.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
I'm going to go back to listener again. I'm sorry for I apologize.
No, I like very points. I was gonna expect something similar. So just shadow.
Okay, you're not helping. Endgame. How was the day?
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
No, to the other end of game, the other user who has your safe handle. Yes, to you and within yes.
Sorry, I'm still at work. I heard in game, but you could have been saying something else.
Yeah, my English is very bad, and my selective English is even worse. So yeah, it's having the job. Okay, how is your day doing so far?
It's good. How is yours?
Oh, interesting, very interesting. I actually came into this space because of those marketing strategies, and I mean, they set up certain names in certain spaces in order to get people, I don't know, enter into those spaces. It's just one tiny detail in the name of the space that makes a whole difference, and I was tricked, so I ended up in this space a long time ago. But my respect. And then space has been closed by the host. Todo ese tiempo entre que hizo la pregunta y que pasó y que nos sentimos re incómodos, intenté cambiar el topic a otras personas hablando. La Benny que preguntó dijo, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do this, I will move myself to listen. Okay. Los tipos pusieron unos emojis, o sea, estaban ahí, no tenían respuesta a la pregunta, la era una pregunta básica. Silencio durante 2 minutos, yo intentando matar ese silencio totalmente nada confortable, y los tipos no responde. We are still working on the white paper, those details are yet to be defined, we cannot tell them right now until we have everything figured out, but yeah, that is something. Yeah, we offer a differential. It's not only that, but yeah, we cannot answer right now. That's a way of getting out of that. If they don't have an answer, they answer that. But okay, they didn't have an answer for that. Ponzi, red flags, Ponzi schemes, scammers.
Sí, se me hace interesante. Sí, cuando lo estaba oyendo se me hizo más interesante por las respuestas de gente como Endgame y otras personas ahí, ¿verdad? Me gustaron sus respuestas, aunque son un poco... me gustaron sus respuestas y las respuestas de las otras gentes ahí, ¿verdad? Porque blockchain es más una, como dicen, es un ledger, right? Pero es más previous chain, current chain, in a what is it called, in a hash. That's all, right? With some small information factors in there, right? It's just a ledger. The real data is held outside.
A database that gives all the warranties of not being. You cannot alter it. Once it's stored there, it remains there forever. Unlike any other database.
Yeah, but nothing legible is really stored there. The chain itself is just hashes. The storage is outside, and most of it is secret, right? I mean,
hold on. You know, we're talking about a smart contract, right? Not about the Bitcoin blockchain.
Well, yeah. I guess it could be different, right? Because essentially, you could say the NFT hash
Yeah, the NFT. Yeah,
is
of course.
stored in there, but the NFT
Yeah,
is
the
not stored
NFT is
in
not
there.
stored in the ledger.
They're either in the person's belonging or in the OpenSea
Yeah,
or
no,
in
actually,
one of the
they're
markets, right?
anywhere. I mean, they're
But
just not part of the blockchain because the price of storing an NFT in terms of the
right,
size and other things would make it completely something
but
crazy.
but it's true for everything that was talked there. Nothing really was talked about the hash itself and the true blockchain itself. Most of it was talked about the data outside, and that's why I like the
Why not?
person's response.
Why is
That
not? Because those people are actually people that are not knows. They actually do not know. They say they're new. They're new, but okay, somebody who is new is not launching and me about to mint having the whitelist in order to release having minting something in a few days. I mean, it says
which
for somebody, yeah.
which is really interesting because SHA 256 or 500 or any of them, they take only a couple seconds, right? And you could kind of blockchain pretty much anything, and it doesn't have to be as difficult as it is for Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Because they're all just as secure. I mean, if you could, they're just proof of work, right? Which is just making somebody do work. But at the end of the day, if they could use those hashes for something better, just like you could use those what is it called? Those undividable numbers. I forget what they're called. Then there's value in searching for them.
Número primos.
Yeah, right. Then there's value in searching for them because they have those numbers have a link to cryptography and other uses, right?
Yes.
But the hashes with the lead and zeros, they really don't have a purpose.
No.
Right
There's just a
beyond
complication. There's
making
just a way of making it to make it harder in terms of processing in order to get the results. It's just
yes,
work
which
hard and make it hard in order to get that specific hash.
right, yes. So it's just a proof of computing power to me,
Exactly.
and it's a proof of, which is interesting because if somebody kind of simplifies that and gets it really quick, the whole blockchain is compromised, right? Because essentially, not necessarily they would just go to a bigger hash. They would just go to something more complex, right? Or try the next big thing, right? But it also, it's also difficult for all cryptography, right? If that was the case, because that's a foundational layer for a lot of things, right? But it's just a way of kind of saying, let me take this big corpus of text and hash it down to something that like code, right? Code is hashed. So you have the MD5 hash for code, which is just really just again taking that whole text and breaking it down into a fixed text and saying this is very unique and there's not a possibility for collision or some other things, right?
That is basically to guarantee that this text that I have hashed, okay, I can verify that this text only. I mean, the also getting the same result with a different text is very unlikely. Even though with MD5, I think the first time they were able to actually find a collision. I don't know if they did it. It was some years ago. It was only one case. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's only one case of a collision found, which in all the universe of MSDs is nothing.
And they don't say it's impossible, right? They do say it's possible. Collisions are possible because of the fact that you could, you're simplifying it, right? And
exactly.
And essentially, you only have limited text from bigger text, right?
The fact is you have a text that is, I don't know, 1,000 bytes of length, and you are putting it into a string that is, I don't know, 65 characters. Okay, it's impossible not to do that all the time. You will have certain text that will the mapping of the all the universe of things that can be hashed, and the results the results are limited. The hashes are limited.
But what's interesting is I found it interesting that it's like fixed text, right? So essentially, the limitations are just as much as the limitations of the input, right? So if the input is a fixed input, you always know what the prefix is. It's the version. You always know what the previous hash was, right? You
Yeah,
know
exactly.
certain things, so and you're kind of limited to a certain, maybe a number of text for transaction, and maybe you have some variation at the bottom, for other transactions or that you're putting or something. But let's just say that's really your difficulty. At the end of the day, you know what hash is being used, you know how the hash is generated, you know,
Everything is known. Everything is known. The thing is that it's
except
very hard. It's
that
very
key.
hard to get that result.
Except that key, right? So essentially, if you took that whole computational power that they're using to generate that key and reversed it and said, let's take it to kind of like find, within the universe of ASCII, or the number of texts that are possible within that, and this fixed unknown, can they, produce it, right?
Yeah.
That would be, like it would be an interesting case. But essentially, they did. Does that give them kind of like the key to like the Genesis account or something like that? Or it's just interesting, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once that does, right, that's such a big chunk that does that kind of like, impact it, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think the whole concept is interesting.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the hard work effort for the blockchain Coinbases is no different than just making one without the leading zeros, right? Because it's just a proof of work, but at the end, the complexity is just the same for the hard one as it is for just a general one without the
No, that's
nuns, right?
absolutely not different. But in this case, the issue is that, okay, this is an NFT project that are going to create mint some NFTs that are going to, I don't remember how to save the turtles or something like that. Okay, you're going to buy for $10 each token, and this woman was going to make as much money from that, investing in cryptos and trading because she's an expert on that, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And the question was, okay, so I gave you my money and this woman is that. Okay, what is the difference from me going directly to a woman, to this woman, or to anybody who has the same skills and works, does the same thing as her, and directly tell her, okay, these are my savings, I want you to do that. And they didn't. I mean, what is the differential of this project when it comes of? Why would I invest in this and not do this? I mean, what is the added value of all this? 2
I
minutes
was
of
wondering why.
silence.
I was wondering why halfway through the conversation, when they said they were shilling, they were talking about the person that never sleeps, that is constantly looking at the charts, that only gets off the charts when they have a migraine. And I was wondering why they were mentioning that. But I get it now. You're saying that was the whole preface of the
Yeah, the thing is that woman is actually,
of the
I
project.
realized
Yeah.
that woman is actually working in a lot of projects at the same time, and all the projects are based on providing a cheap token that, as they mentioned, it's very cheap. It works on Solana, so to make it cheaper, the most, I mean, for me, the solution that I would be my last option when minting would be Solana right now, maybe, despite of but it's the cheapest one, but the token is, they are minting on Solana. They have no answers on what the utilities are actually, how it works. They cannot answer that. Okay, that is a very basic scheme of making people buy something, and okay, where am I putting my money in somebody who's going to trade that and profit from trading my money, my cryptos, and okay, people doing that, if they're good, they will make money, but okay, it's risky, and it's something that I wouldn't do. I mean, I want something that generates utility, that is something that is clear how I mean, this is nothing more than giving this to a trader or buying a software that automatically creates the trade based on signals. I don't know. That's
I
it.
thought you knew. I thought you knew them, Alberto, because at the beginning, I thought kind of you were playing along with it, because it was interesting when he mentioned about how like philanthropy and that they wanted to give money to new
Oh my God.
projects and
Yeah,
sustain the
no.
community and do all of this, but
Yeah,
essentially
but
it's the other way around, right?
I was referring to when I entered into this world of NFTs. That was basically the thing that all the projects had in common. Nobody would ever consider running a project, and then when it comes to offering it, not taking into account that everybody was giving back to society, either in charity, but a percentage of the profits were always going back to somebody who I don't know who didn't was in a situation of lack of opportunities in a context that was not very favorable. That was basically always the philosophy behind each NFT project. Even though when I started working on my first NFT project, that unfortunately for other reasons didn't the results were it wasn't actually executed, but the reasons were
I know
very
that,
very different. The thing is that also we were going to give 25% of the projects to certain organizations and programs that were for the it was for Amnesty International, un organismo que está a cargo de la reforma del sistema penal de Estados Unidos, y dinero para la gente que sale de las cárceles para reinsertarlos en la sociedad, y eso lo habíamos escrito de forma que un notario lo iba a certificar. Estábamos documentando toda la parte de cómo dar las garantías de que realmente lo que prometíamos que íbamos a hacer con ese 25% se iba a concretar. Íbamos a poner toda la evidencia al sitio web, publicar todo el proceso y cómo la gente podía corroborar mediante las direcciones de las billeteras y legalmente mediante documentos donde nos comprometíamos a hacerlo, de que esos porcentajes de criptos iban a ser transferidos y la gente podía corroborar que la transferencia sucedió pero lo que aprendí después es que la mayoría de los proyectos hacía esas promesas, pero después no cumplía nada.
That's why I found it interesting, Alberto, because when I first started listening, it was like a year ago, right? But before that, I came from the Reddit crowd, and I kind of lived the whole what do you call it, meme
Daniel,
crowd.
podemos hablar en castellano, que está Berito acá. Un segundito.
Oh, sí. En ese tiempo, yo estaba jugando con los meme coins, ¿verdad? Y compré como una cantidad de Dogecoin, porque me dijeron que era como un joke, ¿verdad?
Bueno,
y tenía una buena cantidad, y era antes de que subiera, but I was day trading, y porque estaba day trading.
Estamos hablando del mismo momento que yo compré a 0,00 algo.
Sí,
que
sí.
Cuando yo después me di cuenta en HitBTC, entré y vi que tenía $600, dije, ¿y esto? Si yo tenía la cuenta casi en cero, ¿qué pasó? Y me fui a ver y me di cuenta de que había comprado Dogecoin hacía no sé cuánto, simplemente porque tenía un dinero, un poquito de dinero para comprar. ¿Y qué hago? Bueno, apuesto a esto y wow.
Sí, yo tenía una buena cantidad, y luego lo que pasé es que estaba day trading y me pasé de mi I got a margin call or something.
Margin trading.
Y me bajó, ¿verdad? Y luego dijo que I passed the 5 limit y all this stuff, and they blocked me, right?
Has been liquid, and
they blocked me for 3 months. Wow. And I was like, well, maybe that won't impact crypto, right? Because crypto is different. Crypto is daily, and crypto doesn't follow the same rules, right? So I thought, okay, maybe I'll play with crypto. So I had money in there, and I decided to take it out because it dipped a little bit. So I decided to take it out, and then when I wanted to put it back in, it blocked me completely. So I couldn't do anything. I was blocked, and at that moment that I was blocked, the next day, boom. 30 cents, then
No,
60
pará, estamos
cents. And I was
hablando
like,
de
what?
2021, abril de 2021 más o menos.
Yep. And so it's interesting because I came from that crowd, right? The whole meme coin crowd. And then I started listening to these spaces and all the mental health and all the
Sí, bueno,
NFT
yo creo
projects and
que
what they want to achieve and everything. I'm thinking,
no, I have to
Jesus,
say,
right? I mean, the whole if it's anything like it was in Reddit, it's all about the wins or losses. That's it. Period.
well, I have to tell you, back in 2016, I was obsessed with trading with cryptos. I was having this problem. I was in front of the computer cell all day watching at the prices of each crypto. I was like okay, obsessed with that, watching how the market was trading. I mean, the volumes. I mean, trying to analyze everything, watching everything in real time. Okay, I was able to buy in at the end of February of 2016, 2017. Okay, uh, let's say a thousand Litecoins at $3.5, and it was so frustrating. Months went by, and the price of the Litecoin was 3.5, 4, 3.5, 4, 4.01, 3.6, and it was like all the cryptos were like moving up, and Litecoins were like, holy shit, what have you done, Alberto? This fucking crypto is always staying between 3.5 and 4. And okay, at one point, something happened, else to 6, to 7, to 8. People started, okay, this is it. I'm getting out, taking, okay, I stay 11. Okay, that's it. This is it. Okay, then they move up, jump to 20 eventually, 21, 22. I have all recorded that in real time because I was so obsessed that I was recording the screen in real time of what's going on. And I was seeing, okay, at the exact moment the Litecoins were hitting the new highest values, I was recording that, I don't know for what. Okay, then to 30, then to 40, 45. And I was like, fucking shit. Then I was arrested. Then I went to prison.
Oh,
Then I realized that at
it was at
December
that
of
time?
last year, it reached more than $300. And I bought it at 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I lost them more, but that's never mind. It's okay. But the thing is that I had that obsession, and I realized doing that actually, trying to see the behavior and try to sell at certain points and then rebuy when the prices were coming down, and then okay, that basically I came to the conclusion how stupid it was. I made some basic calculations and I realized, okay, if I had done, if I had bought certain wherever I had spent on bitcoins at the price at the moment I was entering into this, and I would never have traded them anymore. I mean, just leave them in the wallet and do nothing. Actually, I would have profit much more than having been all day in front of the computer watching and trying to get those small profits, and then no, it was stupid.
But
And
hindsight is 2020, right? So what you see now, you couldn't see then, and not only that, your choices were different then, right? The way I see it is, I could have bought crypto early on because I was seeing it, and I actually tried to download a lot of the crypto tools early on, like in 2010, 2000, in the early days, right, where it was kind of like sharing and all this stuff. But one, I didn't have the computer space, right? Because you needed more computer space than was available at that time or easily available. The hard drives weren't as big and they were really costly. What you could get today for really cheap in those days were like you have to have a purpose to have that much space, right? And and you had to kind of have all the software in there in place, and none of it was kind of risk proof because it was a little more risky in that time, right?
Yeah.
And then but yeah, the opportunities were there, But then there was other ones that failed, right? If you look back at the history, that wasn't the only one. There was like 5 other ones, and you don't hear about the 5 other ones because they failed. You never hear about the failure. So everybody kind of anybody that ever gambles never tells you about their losses.
No,
They only tell you
absolutely.
about their
They
wins,
only tell
and
okay
all
on
you
the
hear
win.
about is their wins every time.
Yeah,
I won
and
this
if
jackpot.
they told you
I did
everything,
that.
you
You
would
never hear about their
realize
losses.
no, but you would realize that actually they might have won 1,000, but if they talk about the losses, you realize okay, so basically you are minus 2,000 right now, considering that that you won as that's 1,000 profit. Considering the thing that you haven't rolled, you are basically minus 2,000.
Yeah, and it's and trading. They said with today's bots that are kind of some of them, like for example, some of the trading systems had what is it called, where they kind of give your trade to them early on before you do it, so they kind of could one up you, right? In terms
Yeah.
of what was it called, revenue. No, I forget what it was called, but essentially you make a trade, it goes to the clearinghouse, that clearinghouse could one up it, make it a little more expensive, and you're paying that little more expensive price, and then they could essentially change the market price if it's big enough or
Exactly.
not.
Yes.
And
Yes.
essentially now it dips, right?
Yes.
So you're playing against bots, right? And these are bots that could do long-term trades, short-term trades, and essentially play on your psyche, right? And I mean,
You
they
cannot
could kind of
compete with that.
analyze you and a
You
lot of
cannot
things
compete
about you,
with
right?
that. Yeah.
So they have a lot more information at their fingertips than you do ever,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
and actually they make you believe that you're actually in control, and the decisions that that you make are actually the decisions. Actually, you get what you see, but you are not seeing all the information. And when it is executed, that transaction that you wanted actually is not the transaction that you wanted. So it's fun.
I did one of those. I did one of those, but I kind of chuck a lot of my. I actually didn't do that bad for not having any experience whatsoever, right? So I'm actually pretty proud of that aspect. But what's interesting is that one of the trades that I made, it was kind of impulsive. I looked at the ticker, and I didn't know that much. That the ticker was kind of a deceiving ticker. The company it mentioned, and I thought it wasn't. And to get out of one of those once you're kind of in it, it's pretty difficult once it dips because there's no volume, there's nothing
Oh
there.
well, yeah,
So
we all
you're
been
pretty
through that.
much at a loss if you make a mistake that big, right?
Yeah, when you are inexperienced, yeah, you are
And
driven by emotions, and then you realize, okay, how do I get out of here? I'll sell now, and then you realize there's no volume, nobody's buying, so you
nobody's
cannot sell.
buying it, right? So you're
Yeah,
kind
so
of like
how do I
stuck
get
in
rid
it,
of this?
and it
Wow,
just
what a
keeps
mistake!
dipping because now it knows you want to sell, and it's kind of it's almost like the airplane industry, right? The moment they know you want to buy a ticket and you show interest, it goes up $20. If you don't buy it and you view it one more time, it goes up another $20, right? They're playing on your supply and
Knowing,
demand
knowing
and your
that you
need,
want to do it, yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
essentially the stock market is no different, right? And the other ones,
Yeah.
and this is of course not advice, just my experience, right?
No, it's
In
my
any way,
experience as
but
well. I mean, I've learned losing. I mean, the money that it cost me to learn of that was thousands of dollars that
yeah,
I lost. But yeah, I've been through the same thing as you,
but
and nobody tells you that. I think they want you just okay. You have money. Put your money here.
and what's
Come on,
interesting
everybody's
is
making millions. Why are you not going to make millions? Come on.
And what's interesting is if you paper trade, right? If you paper trade, you're never going to be impacted by those. You're
No,
never going to be impacted by the automated trading and by the kind of reverse or the psychology of
no,
it,
no,
because essentially
exactly.
you're just seeing it as it would be if it was perfect world and there was nothing adverse about it or nothing challenging, right? But if
Exactly.
the moment you actually put real money in there, and put it in there. You'll see how quickly it dips once you make a buy. Or and in the best time though, the only time that I saw that was profitable was when there was like crazy volume, that where your trade didn't matter. It was really and to find those was really difficult, right? And that's only if you're for day. For anything else, long term, you're gonna look at different parameters, right? But for day, if there was crazy consistent volume, like Tesla, had for a while, then it was like almost like in a short win. Unless you were just you're emotional about it or something like that. But some of the other ones, I mean, and that's what I kind of learned, right? That first of all, it's you kind of had to look at what was driving the volume. Even the numbers were skewed. Like sometimes they would say this thing went up 30%, right? You can't let a bot do it because the numbers are skewed. This thing went up 30%, but it only says it went up 30% because it either split positively or negatively, and maybe that generated a little spike of volume or some crazy thing. But there was always inconsistencies that if you had a bot driving any of these things, you would lose because they even know how to play the bots, right? They even know how to kind of play the numbers towards the bots, that you kind of have to have a lot of controls towards it, not just trust the numbers.
All those transactions that were automatically generated, creating, you were seeing in the graph, there's coming a huge volume that wants to buy a certain price that it seems, it's going to come. And then when it's about to execute, that order disappears. Oh, fuck. It's like, it's not a fair game. It's not a fair play. I mean, you are playing against you. I mean, they are basically abusing of the information they have, and we don't have access to.
There are some interesting ones. I saw some interesting patterns. I'll give you one example. And every time it's like a butterfly effect, right? The moment it's disclosed, the moment it's known, the whole game changes, right? But that's okay because I'm not trading. So, but I guess one of the things that I saw is like the asset industries. Like a lot of the asset industries, most of them are insider. And when I say insider, I mean most of the purchasing is done by employees, right? Not like you know how they kind of put the charts and they say it's more insider or external, but like being one of the bigger hedge funds or who owns most of the stock, right? Or who's constantly purchasing. And a lot of these insider ones, they have employees that these are like the kind of companies that people are going to retire from, expect to retire from. Right?
And not to mention when the people, right? That are on the top management are deciding to sell part of the. I mean, those people own. I mean, the market, when those people decide to sell, the market complete they affect the market.
I think that's what happened to Tesla. I think in a sense, I think it was rugged when he decided to sell those couple billion. I mean, that was a perfect cash out, but at the same time, I think he rugged the company to a degree because essentially, he took all those profits, a dip. Well, that money came from somewhere. That was a big chunk of money during the biggest spike of all companies, and especially that one, right? I mean, that was a big chunk of change, and I think that pretty much could have been almost the demise of the company if, in the long term, because that was a huge chunk of money. That's what almost bought Twitter, right? That huge withdrawal. And even though it was made public and he wasn't the only one. I mean, if you look at the divorce, the just perfectly timed divorce with, Amazon, right? That was perfect as well too, right? The perfectly timed divorce with a couple other companies, right? I mean, it was like perfect timing for a lot of these big changes, but there was a lot of cashing out at the time, and all of a sudden, boom, everything goes down, right? Why? Because when you have that much money coming out of like anything, crypto, anything, it's gonna rug, right? It's gonna impact it, and there was a huge amount of cash outs during that time.
I lived that, I seen that, and understood. Okay, Alberto, and I learned I learned that okay, I should have known better before entering into this. But yeah, that's the way it works. But unfortunately, most of the people enter without knowing anything
And
about
what I
that.
saw with the insider companies is, and when when I say insider, I mean insiders are buying the stock, right?
Yeah,
So what the insider companies, the ones that had primarily, is that every paycheck, right? They're buying. So yeah, maybe these hedge funds are not essentially cashing it out on that day. They're taking the funds, right, from the employees, and essentially they're kind of going to buy throughout the month, or hedge it somehow, or but eventually they're going to buy it, right, for the employees, because they're saying that they have that stock. Maybe they're going to wait till it dips a little bit, but you always kind of see those little waves because essentially they're cashing out every time, right? Hedge funds were not made to not profit, right? So essentially, if even insiders in a company that are buying are always buying through some sort of a package, and that package is through some hedge, right? And that hedge is going to say, okay, I'm taking all these employees paychecks, I'm taking 5-10%, maybe taking doubling it up, whatever the company's doing. That's 6% every time that's going into this account, right? That's going into this company. Some have options to buy somewhere else, but essentially they're kind of what there's a wave of buying, right, all the time. And when they're buying, right, you kind of see those ups and downs. So there's a little bit of constant for profit on some of those companies, and I find that interesting, to kind of find those gems too. But
yeah. For me, it was interesting. It was expensive, but okay. At the end, you learn that uh, how easy it can be to make. I mean, with I tell you, an example, China.com, when they became public, it was such a huge hype. The prices went to the moon in the initial public offering, and in 2 minutes, I gained $4,000. In 30 seconds, I lost them all. So you get to
yeah, and
understand.
that happens with most of them. Most of the ones that were IPOing, for the most part, had a trajectory where they would IPO, they would dip immediately almost, and then if you were lucky, they had a huge run up that only lasted less than a day, and then from that point forward, it was pure dip.
Yeah,
Unless that company just kind of like wowed everybody, or just became a Google,
yeah,
or a Tesla, one
exactly.
of those things, and
Yeah,
stabilized and just kind of went,
and
the upward
imagine when,
trajectory. That was the pattern.
yeah, but imagine when it comes to ICOs, that was even worse. I mean, the dip was like, okay, you had only a few seconds to try to actually make some profit. Otherwise, bye bye. It was like going down, and you wouldn't have any chance to actually recover that. That's it. It was just a second.
And here's the other part, right? The other part was most of those trades were in the early hours of the morning, sometimes even at open, before open. So if you didn't have the capability to do, what was it called, the six
Yeah, the
thirty
after
a.m.
hours
to
trade. Yeah,
the
the
after
order.
hours trade, essentially you were screwed on a lot of them, right? Because you were just kind of watching it at that point.
Yeah, actually, I remember back in the late 90s when I was trading with the coms, what I was doing, I was watching at the news of what was going on in Japan with what was the market in Japan before the Nasdaq started operating. I mean, yeah, trying to have an idea, okay, how is the market in Japan behaving in order to have to kind of get because okay, what happened there was probably something that patterns were going to be similar in Nasdaq or the New York Stock Exchange, but
but
uh,
but
this-
but what's true is that although that's true, it's only true as long as you're the only one doing it. In
yeah,
the market, the moment everyone's doing the same thing, and I think it was mentioned even in the earlier thing, the moment everyone's doing the same thing, you're no longer going to win. It
no,
has to be. It has to be. You kind of have to find those gems where you're the only one aware of that pattern, or change or that upcoming piece of information, and
Yeah,
it's usually it's always public data, right? I mean, or it should be public data,
I
but
don't know if
essentially,
you. Yeah, no, go ahead.
but essentially, uh, yeah, like what you were saying, right? But if everybody's using that kind of marker, that pattern, it doesn't give you
It,
any edge, right?
no,
It has to
doesn't
be
give you
something
any.
that
Yeah,
you, for example, saw that you have a certain group of international community, and you kind of got wind of like, for example, something that was going to spread wider just hadn't arrived or just hadn't got to these areas, but you were already seeing the patterns of its effect. That was a game changer. But other than that, it's kind of already kind of priced in, like they would say, right? A
yeah,
lot of the ones that are training will tell you about what they consider priced in already, and yeah, there's quite a bit that they consider priced in. Uh, it's kind of an interesting thing because if once you come from that to this, you kind of already see the patterns of, right. The news will always tell you X is up, the S&P 500 is up, this is up, that is up. The rarely ever give you kind of the news of it's down, because it's kind of that general hype, right? Um, and it's the same thing you hear with the NFT markets and all the other things. The nice words rug, all the other things. It's kind of interesting. If you really want to profit, you kind of have to look beyond all that, beyond the noise, filter a lot of things out, and kind of say, okay, where is it that you see those good patterns,
yeah.
or those patterns of
Exactly.
success?
I mean, you're running disadvantage. I don't know if you heard when I told about the only way that I was really uh, gaining big time was in such only one moment when there was an arbitrage opportunity that I saw when in BTC. Ethereum was trading at, I don't remember, I don't know if you heard, so I won't repeat it, but was trading at 45, and on HitBTC it was at 41. And, and I said, okay, move right now, okay, move everything to the other exchange, so convert everything into Ripple in order to have that funds immediately on HitBTC, and okay, start moving that, and then going back. Okay, that was something that, okay, I cannot believe, and I was surely not the only one, but there were not many people doing that, because that difference in the price between those exchanges, wow, it was once in a lifetime opportunity, and the profit I got were like really, really, yeah, I think they were. I never was able to get those profits in any other kind of transaction in my lifetime. It was like something, wow, I still cannot believe it. It's just an opportunity of an arbitrage, trading because of arbitrage, and that, okay, that normally doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. I mean, that should be detected by a bot, executed by a bot, or I don't know.
And that's
I
where I
would
have
say,
to be ready for, right. You one need the that's little bit of slush, right. Extra money, right. Two, you need the account set up, right. Three, you need to have that opportunity to kind of where you can't do wire transfers
no,
at the
no, no.
moment
Actually, imagine
for
myself. I
right.
had to. I decided convert everything to Ripple. What I wanted was to have those funds in another place immediately. Okay, Ripple. That's it. I mean, forget about if I was going to do Bitcoins. Once the Bitcoins would have been transferred onto that exchange, the opportunity would. I mean, would
Yeah, and
completely
that's the
be
case with
over.
most of the things, right? That are opportunities that they're not going to wait for you, and they're not
Yeah,
going to
of
wait for
course.
the
So it
length
was
of
like,
these
okay,
transactions.
Ripple
Or
everything into Ripple, and Ripple the transfer to the other exchange. That's it. And then another exchange convert. I didn't care. I didn't give a fuck about the conversion fees or anything. I mean, it was Ripple. That's the option to have everything in a few seconds on the other exchange.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's kind of where, yeah, you have to look for those gems and you have to be ready for those gems.
Yeah, the thing is that once, yeah, well, at this point, where you when you don't have anything to when you don't have anything to trade, it's like, okay, you can see the opportunity, but lack enough anything to invest. It's like, okay, nice. I can see it. I can see the opportunity, but okay, that's it. But it's a hell of a experience and learning, and most of all, learning, as I told you, how money means nothing, and making, I don't know, as I told you, $4,000 in 2 minutes, and it's like, wow. And then losing them in 30 seconds is like, wow, okay, money, money comes, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I never got that lucky. I
No,
kind of,
you never got that lucky to earn $40,000 in 2 minutes and losing them in 30 seconds. It's not
yeah,
lucky. The luck could have been to have kept
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, yeah, yeah. No, I know what you're saying, but yeah, I never got that lucky. I did kind of try some of the meme ones and was there when it was all the hype. So it was kind of pretty funny there. But no, I didn't get that lucky.
Yeah, well, but you know how things work and how unreal so many things are in terms of what people are. Well, I remember going people um, showing me okay, out forex. Oh, how beautiful it is for showing people how easy it was to make money, and it was basically something that it was you were going to make money. There was not another chance. And then all the things that you were mentioning regarding the execution of the orders and all the manipulation in the middle before getting the transaction executed that you wanted, how they changed everything. And those motherfuckers actually, when it came to cryptos, there was a platform here that was operating in forex and offer bitcoins transactions. uh, I knew some people that, okay, they decided to give it a try, and they started to using that, okay, and that's, at some point they decide, okay, it's time to sell, and the platform would actually uh, started giving problems, and they couldn't actually execute. They wanted to sell or to buy at certain point, and they wouldn't have the transaction executed. Uh, and there was such a frustration, and I'm completely sure those delays were not accidentally. They were completely deliberately put there in order to not I mean to make the forest company to make profit, and from the profit that the customer would eventually be making.
I mean, yeah, that's the funny part. That's the as much as they say decentralized finance, the truth is that the only way to change it to currency and put your currency in there, for the most part, it has to go through some sort of a clearinghouse, and most of the clearinghouses are centralized to some degree, and most of the big what do you call it,
Exchanges.
yeah, not only the exchanges, but the ones that are also kind of like minting or doing different things are centralized for the most part.
Yes, yeah, mostly, yeah, they're all centralized, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Uh,
even like, for example, let's just say they talk about Bitcoin being decentralized, right, and kind of like the root of everything, right? But if you want to mint on Bitcoin, you have to either join some sort of what do they call it, a group, or what do they call it,
no,
a
but you
pool,
cannot mint. You cannot
a
mint on
pool.
Bitcoin. You cannot
There's no way around the pool, and there's no instructions to how to kind of go around the pool that are easy to find because it's all essentially very, very, very centralized to
right
those
now,
unique
I
pools,
mean,
right?
yeah, right now there are, I mean, first of all, the manufacturers of the mining devices, there are six. I mean, there's only one, and in order to get them, you or me, we're not going to get the latest technology out there in order to mine the fastest one, the smallest chips. No, and those who get them, I mean, I think it's Fury. I don't remember what companies are, but those companies they are getting the latest technology. They have the most powerful devices in order to be able to actually having all the odds of resolving of solving the problems, the computational problems, and those devices are actually nobody can get them brand new, even do the QA processing that they go through while they're building them. They're actually using them to mine because every minute count, and those devices are supposed to be on 24/7. If you don't have that device working, a minute is a minute that you are not profiting from that. So even during that, you testing that in the QA process, they're running them. So when you get to the hands of the customer, it's a device that has already been used for I don't know how many hours of the lifetime. So it's brand new. It doesn't exist.
Who programs them? Are they open source, or is it kind of like a built-in program that just does that single hash function against that text? Is that all its function? Just
No,
doing that
actually,
single
well,
hash function with a node?
no, actually, I have experience with. I have actually an ASIC here. I used an open source system in order to control it, to get access to the pools, to connect to the different pools. Um, yeah, open source. Yeah, I used an open source software that I cannot remember the name now. It was back in 2016. Sorry, that I used that, and it was just open source. I cannot remember the name of the solution of the software, but yeah, I mean, actually, the device can be first of all can do that directly from at a firmware level that it has you connect it to the LAN and with your PC you access it like a router with 192.168.1.1 and you set it up directly from the ASIC with the computer connected, but then you can have more than one, and okay, you can have it stocked like I don't know as many mining ASICs as you want, and then the controlling them is just another story. But the thing is that I only have experience actually working with Dash mining and Dash Dash. What happened with Dash? I have no idea. I have now a brick because I actually bricked the $5,000 ASIC for stupidity again. I bricked it. I don't know exactly what I did, but I did something and I just couldn't recover it, and now I have a brick that was worth $5,000.
Wow! And at the time, right now they said that the value is if you would mint one or one block, it's what you get like like six Bitcoin, which is like 100,000 or something like that. I forget what they were saying. Well,
Yeah,
20
actually,
something times six or something like that, right?
yeah,
So
no,
current
I don't
price
know if
times
you're right
six,
or
right?
no, but yeah, I mean
But
the rewards are
how,
extremely attractive,
how
and those people imagine those farms of ASICs
and with
that
the
have thousands and thousands of ASICs.
yeah,
The,
with so if they create a pool, then all they're changing is that one unique number at the end to kind of the proof of work. Just running the hash function against the whatever preset previous factors plus whoever's going to get the cash out, and it's going to distribute it through the pool or whatever they're going to do, and essentially just kind of parsing it out amongst all these things to run these different.
I mean the way they work depends. I mean, it depends on what you're mining, the crypto that you're mining. There are different ways of distribution. That I mean, some of them works in a way where okay, you're a group of nodes that are working together, and one of them solve the problem. Okay, the profit might actually be going distributed a portion of them to all of the rest of the network that didn't solve the problem, and most of it to the one that solved it. They can be. I mean, the depends on the pool, and I think right now with Cardano, for example, it's probably different. I mean, when I took the course on mining, it was many years ago. Right now, I can tell you that the ways of making money are much more different, and the alternatives are not the same as before. But the rewarding methods, I mean, at that point were basically some of them were trying to you are part of a group of devices trying to solve a problem, and one hit the jackpot. Okay, the idea is all of them worked together in order to try to find it. One was the lucky one. That one gets most of the rewards, but the other gets something. They don't get zero, or they can get zero, and the one that gets, I mean, it depends how they are set up.
I thought it was based on the number of transactions that you run. If it's a pool, then the whole pool got it, and then they would distribute it based on regardless of whether you got lucky because you got the lucky number. The hash, right?
Depends on the crypto. Depends, on the setup. I don't know. Welcome back, Berito. Hash, the driving, how it works in Cardano.
Well, it's a little bit different, right? There's stake pools, and Ouroboros is their consensus method, which chooses based on ADA, weight, power, pledge, and a few other small factors to who's going to mint blocks. So the more ADA that's in the pool, I think the saturation's like 63 million or 53 million right now would be a saturated pool. So you'd be minting a lot of blocks, maybe 30 to 60 an epoch. And you get a fee plus 340 ADA for the first one. But it's a proof of stake. So you get rewarded by staking to the network. It's not a proof of work like you guys are discussing here, which I do a little bit of proof of work mining, but it's very slow, very slow.
Amazing.
So I'm curious. Proof of stake, is that just do the hash functions just they're no work effort? It's just a hash of the transaction as a normal hash?
I wish I knew, Daniel. That's a great question. I don't exactly know. That's a great question.
Because essentially, even Bitcoin doesn't need the proof of work, right? It could just hash the next one.
Bitcoin work.
Cardano is very similar to Bitcoin, but it uses Ouroboros instead of whatever function they're using, which again I'm ignorant on. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I think that it's also about the complexity of the mathematical. I mean, of the complexity of getting those hashes. How can you actually pretend to solve like Bitcoins to get certain hashes that have certain structure connecting the prior blocks with the current block? Okay, that takes a lot of processing power, and in proof of stake, you're actually making the decisions or solving those things based on other elements. So
but it doesn't make it any stronger. The hash is just as strong with those leading zeros as it is if it was just generated without the leading zeros, right?
Yeah, I don't know in
it's just as
Cardano.
strong.
Yeah, I don't know in Cardano if the blocks are or in any blockchain that is actually using proof of stake. The hashes actually are have the same structure. I don't know, but it's a good question.
So basically, from the way I understand it, is right. All of the network validated the block that was previously the hash function. Basically, is already set, and then there's a slot that each pool is predetermined to take that slot. So they know who's going to mint the next block, and then the entire network has come to consensus on the prior block, which then is part of the next block, obviously, that got validated. And then, the next person who is up, it's their job to fill that next slot.
Yeah.
So that's just so they won't default, so that it doesn't show kind of the negative impact of companies defaulting. That's kind of why it's a full pool, not necessarily a company per company pool.
Well, there's 3,200 pools, and K, which is the factor of how many blocks will be mint. Well, how many different pools will mint blocks, I guess, in an epoch. So there's 3,200, but only 500 will actually produce. So it's pretty competitive, and it's pretty well diversified. Pretty well, I'll say.
That's interesting that they're predetermined. If it's really competitive, none of them should be predetermined, right? It should just be whoever finds the next one. But I guess there's some latency in terms of the agreement and all the different things that are happening. But what's the likelihood that
I guess
people will
Ouroboros
find out
is
at the
where
same
you
time?
would start on that, because that's how they come up with who's going to mint the next block. And again, you would understand it better than me. I read it from the surface,
No, I don't understand it at all. I'm just trying to learn it.
No, I feel that, for example, in Bitcoins, you have, remember the complexity of solving the problems are increasing over time. That I mean,
but the
years
complexity
ago at the
just-
beginning, you could basically mint Bitcoins with mint. What do you mint? Mine Bitcoins with a PC because of the complexity and the competition. It was basically very low. You didn't need the computer power that you need in order to solve the problems. Weren't problems that weren't so complicated to solve as now. Maybe with proof of stake, it's all about the complexity. And yeah, but still, it's a good question that I should do my own research, and this is not financial advice.
No, but it's pretty interesting because essentially, I'm guessing nobody really follows their model as much or to that complexity, because then it wouldn't be sustained, right? Unless the profits are just as better or just as big or just as long term, right?
Yeah, the thing is that in Bitcoin, the model of complexity, and it doubles, right? Every certain amount of months, and actually the profits are getting lower. Is that right? With time, it's like, wow. It makes like the people that are going to be there mining in order to profit are going to be each time a reduced group of people. At the beginning, any one of us could be doing that right now. I cannot do that in my house with my computer. First of all, I will be negative in terms of the energy consumption. Second of all, my computer will basically, I will get a message saying your computer power is pathetic. Why don't you go and I don't know, and sell? Never mind.
You know what's interesting though? Machine learning is patterns, right? And those hash functions are known hash patterns, right? I mean, and machine learning, neural networks, and all the different things are just patterns and trying to kind of
But the
find
patterns in hashing are patterns that you have to actually meet in order to
to
bingo.
know the
But
keys,
the
right?
thing is that, sorry.
No, I agree with you. You kind of have to mint them to know the keys, right? Because to get them, you kind of have to be able to reverse them, right? You can't just get them out of the nowhere.
I find it funny because we keep saying minting. Fuck, we're not minting. We're going back to mining.
That's true. Yeah, it's mining, not minting, right? But essentially, those companies that have already gone through and actually created those blocks, right? They could essentially take those known keys and those known results and maybe kind of train a neural network and say, can we get to something that maybe speeds up this transaction versus going through the whole routine of next known or this kind of distribution, right? Because they have some of those insights already, right? I'm guessing that how many have been minted already or have been mined? Like 6,000, 7,000, or 600,000?
Sorry. No. I think.
How many blocks are there currently? There was like 700,000, right?
Hold on. Let me ask OpenAI, ChatGPT. No.
I think there was like 700,000 blocks. So essentially, there's like 700,000 keys that already show some sort of a pattern against the same SHA, 256 or something like that, right? So
okay, how many blocks are left? Okay, how many Bitcoin blocks are left? There are. Hold on. How many of the 20? There are 2.3 Bitcoin left. This is not a block. Doesn't tell me. Hold on. How many?
I think Ravi mentioned or
no, this is about not the blocks. I mean, how many? Hola.
Hello.
Perdón, tenía una llamada.
¿Cómo?
Me había entrado una llamada.
No importa, todo bien. Estábamos discutiendo estupideces de criptomonedas y esas cosas raras que sí, que solo a nosotros nos interesa.
Me gustan las cosas raras, así que.
¿Te gustan las cosas raras? Ok.
Sí.
Bueno, yo soy muy raro, o sea. En particular soy bastante, no sé, la gente cree que estoy un poco loco, pero nada, soy feliz. ¿Tú a qué te dedicas además de asustar a la gente con tus tweets en Twitter?
Asusto, ¿por qué decir que asusto?
No, porque
me parece medio triste más que asustar.
No, está buenísimo, me encanta. A ver, no sé qué opinás vos, Daniel, sobre la imagen de perfil de ella. Está buenísima.
¿Cuál imagen?
La imagen que tiene acá en el perfil de Twitter.
No, nomás parece como las caricaturas de hoy.
Pero está no sé, me encanta. ¿Por qué elegiste esa imagen? O sea...
Porque yo me siento muy identificada con Asuka. Tengo mis problemitas. Asuka se hace la fuerte, pero realmente está mal. Entonces, como que más o menos me veo igual a ella en algunas cosas.
Ajá, o sea, también está relacionado con las frases que generalmente tuiteás, que tienen un significado emocional, donde transmiten muchas emociones en una frase, en 3-4 letras, transmitís un estado emocional bastante, sí, que está bastante vinculado con eso. Wow, interesante. Wow. Interesante. Y veo que pasás igual o más tiempo que yo en Twitter Spaces.
Sí. Tengo un personaje que vaya al muere, o sea, como es Asuka, pero bueno, más argentino.
Wow, no, está buenísimo. No, me encanta. Nada. La imagen esa, o sea, perdón que ahora surge el nerd de Daniel, no el mío, y tiene la curiosidad de saber. Esa imagen es solamente por por el personaje o te gusta el diseño gráfico, las animaciones, cosas por el
Me gusta
estilo?
el anime, me
Ah,
gusta muchísimo el anime, me gusta muchísimo los juegos, me gusta el funk, me gusta el metal, me gusta todo lo dark, todo eso.
wow. Ok, ahora estamos hablando. Pregúntale algo, Daniel, porque me siento como en ese space donde silencio de 2 minutos. Y Daniel, por favor.
No,
Oh,
no tengo preguntas, no los
ok,
estoy escuchando.
Benito, ask me anything, pregúntame lo que quieras, sí. Hagamos esto divertido.
Ustedes
Pregúntame.
pregunten lo que quieren, no hay problema, yo puedo contestar.
Ok, ok, eso es muy amplio. Eh, ok, no te voy a preguntar la edad porque es irrelevante. No te voy a preguntar.
No tengo
eh,
problema decirlo, tengo 33. No, no parece mentalmente, pero bueno, me crié con anime y todo esto.
Bueno, hay gente que dice que soy un niño de 8 años, o sea, mentalmente, o me comporto como un niño de 8 años, o sea, nada, nada, no tiene nada que ver. eh, y es impresionante cuando posteas esas fotos de tu cara. Ok, tendrías que teñirte el pelo de rojo capaz, pero
No, 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 yo sé que no soy colorada, pero eh, me acepto mucho como soy en ese ámbito.
Ok, y tus fotos dicen mucho, o sea, no sé, eh, puede ser que perciba un poco de emocionalmente sufrimiento o algo que...
Ah, sí, 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 muy de press mod, sí, recontra. Pero
Ok,
no sé, me sale fingir muy bien.
no lo dudo, no lo dudo. Pero igual, nada, al ver esas fotos digo, wow, casi está llorando, pobre.
O las fotos con mirada trastornada.
Ok, sí, realmente, si alguien te hiciera si un psicólogo intentara hacer un perfil o analizarte, nada, se haría una fiesta igual de que ayer apareció una persona, bueno, hace unos días apareció una persona que ayer en un grupo de gente
Ah,
dijo,
no, el tema es que los psicólogos es que siempre tuvieron que cambiarme porque el psicólogo terminaba hablándome a mí. O sea, yo terminaba.
ok, dame un segundito, driving, are you there driving? Driving, what are you driving? Ok, no está acá. Eso, eso es muy impresionante. O sea, te podemos usar como para hacer catarsis de los problemas, porque seguro que nos puedes dar los peores consejos del mundo y podemos terminar muy mal. Y nada, no está mal terminar mal. O sea, seguramente puedas asesorarnos y decirnos muy mal qué hacer o diagnosticarnos muy mal sobre nuestros problemas. Ay, qué horrible. Pues, ¿sabes lo
Todos
que es?
tenemos problemas. Nada
Sí,
más que algunos decidimos marcarlo y que bueno, que nos chupe una pija
que
alguna
nos chupa
problema.
huevos, ¿qué me importa? O sea, nada, o sea, lo que opinen sobre mí no me afecta para nada, me resbala. Driving, I see you there.
Una pregunta, por favor.
No,
Um,
I have something to
Charles,
tell you, driving. I have
muy
something to tell you.
rápido.
No, I have something to tell you, driving. Berito, who's from Argentina, I was asking her about, okay, certain things regarding some pictures she posts and some phrases she expresses in some tweets. And I was telling her, wow, a psychologist, somebody who works in, I don't know, a psychologist would probably be amazed by you and would go nuts. And she said, the problem is that all the psychologists, I have to change them because they ended up talking to me about their problems. That's one.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's really funny. Muy interesante. Muy bonita.
yeah.
Gracias.
Driving es una persona fabulosa. En realidad le encanta manejar autos. Driving, it loves to drive. I feel the need for speed. No, es tu
Muy
Entonces, ¿te
rápido.
gusta el funk tipo drifting?
Me gusta drifting, like Tokyo drifting, Need for Speed. I mean,
No,
Fast
no,
and
no, no.
Furious.
Hay un tipo de
Más rápido.
música que está ligado con el funk, con la electrónica más oscura, no te voy a decir que es todas las carreras así tipo drifting. y eso.
Ajá, ok, dame el nombre de algo que sea así, el nombre de alguna
Ahí,
canción.
ahí te
Ok,
pineo alguno de los videos.
dale.
El Coro es no Ventori, or what do you, no windows, no top. Formula cars. I like those the best.
No,
But yeah, I'm sorry. My Spanish. I'm took 8 years of Spanish, and I love to hear you guys speak it because I can like somewhat understand, but I'm bad.
No, you could understand what we were talking. Oh, fuck, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I was talking on your back about you in Spanish.
No, I do, but like siempre, nunca, like I can get like some I get some things, but not the whole thing. And I appreciate you guys bringing that out. So please don't mind me. I'm
No,
just learning.
no, it's okay. It's okay, Ravi. I mean, you're family, man, and it's okay. We're family here. We're family except those who are
Me
not family.
gusta español, mucho gusto.
Me gusta driving. Please take me driving. Take me for a short ride. Yeah.
Muy rápido. Sí.
Yes. No speed limits. I'm on the highway to hell. Yeah.
¿Cómo se dice need for speed?
Quiero velocidad.
Thank you.
Anytime. De nada en español, by the way. Okay.
Now, Verito, you started a new practice. Talking to these guys because the site guys they probably hear so much bad crap that they need to get it out sometimes.
No entendí.
No, que básicamente seguramente aprendiste mucho de estos psicólogos que te empezaron a hablar y nada, escuchaste mucha basura.
Sí, sí, realmente sí, y era aburrido, no sé, como
Ok, sí,
que
aburrida para vos. Ellos estaban asombrados, no salían de su asombro.
para mí era aburrido porque es como que te quieren entrar a sacarte, por ejemplo, algo que odio es cuando usan la técnica de verdad por mentira. Es
Ah,
algo que odio
ok.
cuando te quieren hacer hablar así.
Okay, she hates. I mean, she doesn't like the methodology in particular when they're trying to get some answers in using a lie as a way of a statement, saying a lie in order to get an answer to a question. That's something she hates and understand because that's basically the psychological approach of the law enforcement, in particular the Interpol. When it came to me, they did that with my ex-girlfriend. They basically told her, okay, and Alberto confessed, and he said that, okay, that you were the one who planified all this crime. And Alberto confessed, so what do you have to say? Te entiendo por completo, lo sufrí no por psicólogo, pero por otro lado, es muy, no me parece ético.
Totalmente. Y bueno, tengo que retirarme porque me están llamando de otro espacio que dejé y voy a ir a mi
Ah,
tele, ahí tengo un montón de música y volveré porque
por
siempre
favor,
estoy de noche.
por favor, volveme a poner la música. I wanna buy outside my mind. It's fucking crazy. I wanna let go of my flaws.
Ah, me
And when
encanta
I,
esa
when I
banda.
think I'm very too fucking crazy, I wanna live inside my car. Ok, voy a poner esta canción. Pero la computadora, porque acá
Esa es mi canción.
es tu canción, no, es mía, la
Sí, sí.
acabo de adaptar sorry, me encanta. Y esta
Bueno,
canción es mía, o sea, lo lamento, Berito, pero this is my song, esa es mi canción. La voy a poner.
Okay, voy a poner esta
podemos
Ok.
compartir la canción.
Bueno, la vamos a compartir, ya la pongo a play. Okay, listen, driving and
Don't mind me, guys. I'm just working, so no problemo over here.
sorry, driving. What did you say, driving?
Mucho trabajo a las trabajo.
Oh, you were driving. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I wanna bounce, and my mind is fucking crazy. I wanna let go my flaws. The only thing is that I don't have any flaws. And when I hide the way, I think I'm way too fucking crazy. I'm so fucking crazy without it being high.
Un momento, por favor.
I will retweet this song because this is alpha. Like alpha, it is like 69 plus 420 means Web3. That was so amazing. They were talking basically about dick pics and a project and okay, do you have sex when you have sex? Do you do 69? That was a discussion, and then it came to okay, I'm gonna roll my shot. Okay, then at the end the conclusion was okay, 69 plus 42 means Web 3.0. That was the best alpha ever. And
Alberto, I pinned a little proof of work versus the proof of stake chain up above. Had some good info in there that might be decent to check out, just so next time you guys are discussing it, you might have a little bit more ammo.
Okay, thank you. I will check it out. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much. There are things that if you don't use it, you lose them. And I remember all the course that I took about mining in Argentina, and yeah, I really learned so many things regarding first of all, evaluating whether a project. What do you want to mine with crypto? Okay, according to that crypto, what's the power, the cost of of your power in where you live? Okay, and then let's select the what do you need in order to you are going to mine depending on the crypto either using a 6 or CPU based gigs. Okay, if you have this NVIDIA blah 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 that costs I don't know $1,000 and you are going to run this on based on this, you will basically have a profit of $2 a day, which are probably, I don't know, $50 a month. So in order to recover the return of your investment will take you like forever in most of the cases. No, and it was amazing, but for me, mining in Uruguay was always extremely not profitable, and I never actually made any kind of. I was based on my perception whenever I was being asked, and I was answering that, and then after that course, I realized, fuck, I was so stupid. Actually, at that point, mining Bitcoin, yeah, was I think it was not profitable, but at that point, mining that sorry, okay, what was okay? It was okay. Okay, Bitcoin for sure not. Okay, I don't remember which one, but it's one of the coins that are are going to zero now. It was profitable, and you could do a lot of money. The thing is that it changes so much. I mean, in a day, you can buy all the equipment. You have everything ready. You have done all the research, and then some market condition change, and okay, you base your estimations on certain market price, and that is something that okay, at the moment you make the numbers, yeah, you have that information that is completely something that you cannot question, but the market after that changes. Sometimes the markets might make all those projections and all those estimations
It's like the
completely.
law of diminishing returns, and most of these do have like halvings. Like Bitcoin has a halving, Ergo's got a halving. A lot of these, so you're gonna also make less over time. So
Yeah.
it's like almost planned obsolescence. And I mean, I'm mining a little bit, but it is not profitable. I think I make like maybe 20 cents a day. It's kind of ridiculous. It's definitely not worth it, but I'm just doing it for fun.
Yeah, well, the thing is that when I got this Dash ASIC mining, it was a device that I was able to get directly from the manufacturer. I was extremely lucky. I couldn't get it via AliExpress because of the price, even though my credit card was having enough funds in order to pay for that. For AliExpress, it was a price that was too risky for them to process a transaction. So I was in contact with the people from that were selling that, and they told me at one point, okay, you can pay for that with crypto, and we can ship to that. Okay, I took the risk, and they did deliver it as promised. And the thing is that that device cost me $5,000, the equivalent of $5,000 back in 2017. In the USA, they were selling the same device for $9,000. Okay, the price of those devices were having. I mean, the price. You were looking for the prices, and the variation of in that was completely crazy. I mean, you could get the same device for X 1,000 or 5,000. And there was also this issue that was, okay, we are offering this. The estimated delivery day or shipping day, I mean, you were back ordering that because they were actually selling those devices before they were ready. Yeah, there was a market for that, and people were paying, okay, not the same price as they would pay it, having it delivered immediately, but the factor of playing with the demand that were for there was incredible. How the market prices of those devices were having. The economy behind all this is so amazing, and yeah, at the end you realize that uh, unless you are one of the top companies that are ruling the world, you're not going to. I mean, that game is not for you. I mean, you are just somebody who is a part of a system that of the ecosystem that is there, that can understand some things, but at the end your role in the best of the scenarios is make some bucks. uh, mm, those who are going to profit big time and are going to actually make millions and millions are going to be probably a group of few people. uh, it's like a game that is yeah, all that decentralization, okay, bullshit. I mean, the power is in the hands of some group of people, and there, there is no fair game.
Well, exactly. I think even the Bitcoin pool right now, it's run by basically three miners,
Yeah, I
three
mean,
elite pools, or yeah,
yeah, and
not
basically
very
those are the ones that are basically getting the supplies from the manufacturers, the Chinese manufacturers that are getting those devices. I don't know, 6 months or a year before any other people can get access to those devices. That they really make a difference in the performance, and that is something not fair. It's like, okay, you're going to start running in Formula One, and you get the latest evolution of the Ferrari a season before the rest of the people are having access to what is going to be allowed in the next season. Okay, that's not fair.
That's unfortunately how the game is working, Alberto, and that's kind of why I went into the proof of stake side, because you had a little bit of extra opportunity there, lower barrier to entry, but it was harder work. It wasn't proof of work, but you had to put in the work to get to that next level. which was okay for me for a while, but it wasn't sustainable. There's that part of the trilemma. That sustainability part is really tough. And obviously, capital always wins, and no matter what piece. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the money, you can play the game. I mean, the game is much more easy. I mean, if you have the money to get the best soccer players, okay, everything is easier. I mean, you're much more likely to win the championship. Yeah, if you have the money, the difference is that you have a great advantage.
You know what I found interesting about the conversation this morning that you were in, I'm not sure if you were in there, driver, was that they started from a philanthropic perspective, right? And they were kind of bouncing all the different ideas of philanthropy that could be done in crypto, that for the most part a lot of them have already been tried and tested in a lot of the different chains. I mean, they've tested chains with even corporations to avoid the transaction fees and other things, but chain in itself, the way it's structured today, has probably more transaction fees than you would get from some of these other things, right? Because at the end of the day, that the houses, the transaction fees are kind of what's the secure, income versus the other factors, right? But what's interesting is that when they were talking about the philanthropy, one of the later conversations was talking about the tool sets to kind of find the rugged ones and essentially provide you with some insurance. And it was interesting because before that I was thinking about some insurance, right? So everybody pays for car insurance, everybody pays for house insurance, everybody pays for all these insurances, and insurances are really kind of the same concept as somebody holding that in the event that something happens and being able to, but look at all the incidents that happen with the big catastrophes, right? The big hurricanes and all these other things, and where there's intervention and do they really kind of pay out all those dollars and all those different things, right? And if they do, it's lengthened. It's kind of like, I always kind of see it like Social Security, right? I mean, there's a huge opportunity and a huge upside if you could actually penetrate those markets, but there's also a lot of regulation and a lot of different things that are in play. But this is kind of like the people's market, right? So there's an opportunity there to kind of say, he was talking about philanthropy, so he was kind of saying, how about we enable businesses and enable things? So what about if it would act like a Berkshire Hathaway of crypto, right? Where you kind of set boards and you said, I see the smart contracts and there's like a constitution or different types of things in a lot of these smart contracts. And but what's interesting is none of them kind of take the approach of kind of that philanthropy and taking it further in terms of saying, let's build the biggest corporation out there, right? Let's take that money from a crypto perspective and bring the whole community that's kind of been pushing this and thriving and creating kind of like almost like a religious attachment, into it and a belief, and kind of making it into some sort of like a whole corporate model that essentially says all this that we've built is now going to build all these different things, and essentially we're going to take over the whole generation of this population and kind of face out the old generation, right?
That's basically what FTX did. No, I mean, he literally made a philanthropic organization. It got all encompassing. It saturated and oversaturated and leveraged the entire market, and now it's gone.
Yeah, but he didn't. He was essentially the same kind of like parasitic approach of all the other ones that are just taking the funds, right, and taking a transaction cut of those funds. He was never really creating opportunities for the same communities to kind of thrive in there and create.
Well, I would argue
right.
that still he did put money into a lot of other projects. I mean, look how many projects took money from that organization. I mean, you can take all of his campaign distribution and stuff and call that technically philanthropy, even though he was getting something out of it, obviously.
But it was always within the same concept of the chain and the transactions and leveraging, right? It was never kind of, let's create the next Berkshire Hathaway and create the McDonald's that's chain link that competes with the McDonald's, the insurance that competes with the insurance, and essentially everyone that's in the chain invested in the chain is going to buy everything that's related to the chain that's already out there in the market. But now you're getting everything, right? And it's kind of that thing about like the email, you're kind of locked in. You start getting locked in, right? And then your kind of whole life becomes blockchain, right? Related in a sense. But I'm not saying that should be the case, but that was an opportunity, right? In terms of now, if you're rugging everybody, then you're kind of like, isolating the markets because you're just making it temporary. That sentiment is going to live on for a long time with a lot of people, right? If that's
I don't really see the philanthropic approach anymore. I don't see it anywhere, right? I tried that approach, right, and I ran out of money because there's people are too poor and too desperate and too
Oh
greedy.
no, and I don't mean
So
when I say
yeah,
philanthropic, I don't mean it with that perspective. I'm saying the concept, but in a different way, where it's not philanthropic, it's corporate like, and you're building models like a Berkshire Hathaway who's going to buy up, thriving companies and bring them into the blockchain universe and essentially create a community around that you're now transacting within blockchain, currencies
I feel like
to
that's
do the same thing.
exactly what Alameda did, though. That's exactly what they were doing, and I hate to bring that up as the example, but that is what they were doing.
Yeah, but
They monopolized that whole side,
what?
just like Binance has the monopoly on their side of the market.
Yes, and but I guess
Any of these chains that are launching other tokens on their network and launching projects and adding liquidity and giving services to these companies, I mean, I'm going to technically say that's exactly what you're kind of talking about. I would love to explore the insurance model
but
because I think that's super powerful, but you
but
need a lot
but
of
if they're if, but
backup.
if they're launching them without, like you said, if they're launching them without the due diligence just to kind of cash out on them, that's a different model than launching them to be a true successful long-term business, right? And that's where, yeah, the whole foundation has to be
Yeah, that's
set.
what I'm saying. I just
It's,
don't
yeah,
see that happening.
yeah, the foundation for it would have to be that you trust the managers, that you build some sort of a way to kind of do what do we call it, span of control that actually works, not where the top is deciding everything all the time, where you kind of individualize those and let them succeed on their own, right, to a degree.
Yeah, but by the way, Dragon, would you mind listening to a couple of minutes of a space of today and tell me what are your thoughts about it? Just listen to this.
But I agree with you, Dragon. Yeah, from that concept, yeah,
Let me share this with Dragon because it's something disturbing that I talked to a lot of people and yeah, wow, fuck, we're fucked up. I mean, the level of organization people creating those projects. Hold on.
How would the money be generated? Can you
Yeah,
explain
that's what I'm
that
saying.
again?
Yeah, like I said, a part of the funds will go, like, for example, let's say we have $5,000, right? Let's say we would put $1 or $2,000 of that to CD, not everything. So we still have some money for NFTs and tokens, fun things. So that will be still enough to work, so she can do it, we both can do our things and it doesn't stop anybody. But it's not all in one thing.
Okay, no, I just wanted but the money will be made from Celine's efforts, right? The rest, as you said, is for fun.
I'm telling you honestly, like Celine also doesn't do it for free, right? If she makes us money, 30% she takes from the money she makes us. So we get 70, she gets 30, right? I mean, it's fair, but I'm just saying, like, obviously she also wants her, like, nobody's making things here for free. But yeah, she will be part of the money-making machine, but not all of it.
Okay, and what would be, because I'm just looking at it from like an investor, like we talked about earlier, right? So just someone who wants to make money. So if I before I put my money in, would I be able to see the ROI of Celine? Like, what is the return, the yield that she has? just, you know, the thing is, like, these are the things that if you pitch it to someone who wants to invest, these are the things that they might want to know, right? So, like, you want to know, okay, what is, because I don't know Celine, and, you know, I don't know her record, so that's something that I would want to know before I put my money in. And also, like, the other forms of making money, what would their yield be, and what would they be like, you know? Because as Alberto said, it's really, you know, I love how you were honest and upfront with this fact that, you know, this is a project to make money, to make as much money for everybody involved. But I just wanted to kind of, you know, see if you could elaborate on that, or if that's something, you know, if I were to invest, if I would be able to, you know, get the data and get, you know, all the information that I wanted to know. And not as a criticism, right? This is just kind of, you know, to ask some difficult questions, to maybe not even that difficult. But
Let me try to see if I understood. Basically, you're trying to figure out what makes it different from any other. I mean, what is the added value of this? Why wouldn't I go actually to go directly to Celine, or somebody who has the skills of Celine to get more money for my money? Basically, that's what you're wondering.
yeah, because if you look at it, it's basically like a actively traded mutual fund, right? So we put our money together, we have it to a trader, and Celine trades it. Whether we have the NFT as a receipt that we paid it, and then I can ask, okay, but I want
somebody is suffering a problem with Twitter Space. By the way, Elon Musk, thank you. I love you. I think you're doing things in an amazing way. You are probably the leader that the humanity needs, because you are wonderful. Driving is having a problem that he's basically in co-host share. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Let's see if this solves the issue. If not, I will create a ticket with Twitter in order to for them to find the root cause of this problem. Raise your hand, talk, see.
Alberto, that was brutal. I heard the first minute was doubled. So I heard two people talking over each other on the own video.
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Let's not a big problem.
Alberto, send me the audio.
The MP3. Okay. Hold on. I am downloading. I am actually converting it right now. I will upload it. Well, it will be on YouTube in a few hours, but I will upload it in Spotify and all that in 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, it will be in Spotify, so you can listen to that. So it's okay. Yeah. But the thing is that the conclusion is that after talking to some people that knows much better than me what's going on, it's like there are a group of people running in a systematic way this kind of Roche project that are following the same patterns and they are like it's like they are like viruses replicating each the same model, the same operating way. It's like fuck them. I mean, we have to get rid of all those criminals. I don't know, but I am downloading all of the spaces of these guys, the people involved. I am doing my own research in some things, and yeah, these people need to be first of all needs to be doxed. People should know who they are, and they should actually people should know about these guys doing these things that is completely.
I applaud you, Alberto. I'm mostly here for the entertainment and a few gems of knowledge, and I'm not that deeply invested into the.
I mean, I don't want you to get involved in this. No, don't worry. I mean, for me, it's like something that it's something that I cannot let go. When something like this is in front of my eyes, and I believe that this is something that is a, not a crime, because actually, well, I don't know if these things are a crime or not, but actually they are ripping people off. Uh, I cannot do nothing. I mean, I have to first of all research and make sure that actually what my perception is, and confirm that I have the evidence in order to say that okay, this is really what I thought it is. Otherwise, I mean, I'm I'm. I'm not going to go and destroy somebody because I think that they're doing something that is wrong. I mean, no, do a proper research, investigation, grab evidence. Yeah, I mean,
How,
I'm talking good quality information about
how do you both
many things.
how do you both analyze the audios afterwards?
Well, actually, I am subscribed to this service that is Audio Burst, that you upload, you drag and drop the audio file into that service, and the audio files explores, makes a transcription of the whole audio file. Then it analyzes. You can look up in typing, search and keywords, and it tells you about each part of the audio conversation, who is speaking, what are they talking about, what is the context of the conversation, who are the people involved in that conversation, what are the other people's feelings towards the topic that is being discussed,
That,
and
that's
many other
that's funny.
things.
That's funny about the feelings. I find that humorous because just like the most common thing with natural language processing is always sentiment, right? But sentiment is
Yeah,
based
that's it. Yeah.
on certain words, right? But here, you know, getting a feeling versus a sentiment is a whole different thing, right? In terms of saying
Yeah, but
somebody says a certain
yeah,
word,
but
it's a certain feeling.
well,
I found
in
that
this
interesting.
case, actually, the results would be that the person who actually asked the question started apologizing and saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cause this, and I will drop to listener because it was very uncomfortable." And I tried with two people to change the topic, and one said, "Oh no, okay, I'm okay. I'm smoking and showing." And then the girl said, "I said, end game. Good. How was your day?" And she said, "Are you talking to me?" "No, I'm talking to the other person who's using your same username and game." "Yes, I'm talking to you and game." "How was your day?" "Oh, well,
That's
it was
like
fine."
that's
You're not happy.
that's the
Oh
funny
my
thing
God.
about this. I mean, well, like you said, I know this one's recorded. Most of them are recorded nowadays, and if they're not recorded, they're still logged and they're still cataloged,
No,
right?
but the thing
They're
is
still
that
analyzed.
I want to analyze actually this woman that is Celine, the person who is the mastermind, the one who makes the profit because she's an expert, and when it comes to trading, she probably gets multiplies any investment by 10x in 2 days. No, I'm just obviously exaggerating. The thing is that this woman Celine has been in a lot of spaces, including this space where I posted yesterday a video that was obviously was something making fun of the conversation that was mentioned. Marketing geniuses, brainstorming and discussion between BIP and a person who is an expert on the dick industry, and they were talking about these dicks that were being sold at NFTs that were smiling dicks, and Celine is involved in this group of people driving. You have the microphone.
I'm not sure how to follow that, but I will comment that I did recognize the voice in your video. So, and I do have a follower or such with that goes by that name. So I don't know. do some homework when you get this out here. That's a
Okay,
very interesting.
can you please DM me the name of the person? I mean, to confirm.
Ooh, I gotta go through the brain, and that's not
Okay,
always
okay, not a
easy.
big deal, but okay, the fact that you recognize that voice, for me, is one more flag. I mean, the thing that I was telling Daniel and Queen and other people. Okay, somebody who, I'm new here. I'm running spaces to learn, to listen to you guys, and we're about to mint. We have our white list. We're minting in a few days. Okay. When I started learning about NFTs, between the moment I started and the moment I first minted an NFT, it took me some time, and even that minting was just for testing. It was not intended for selling. And okay, there are new ones. Okay, and we're ready to mint. So, okay, wow, this is interesting. Celine is in charge of making the money. As I mentioned, the money making machine is Celine,
I got
and
that.
she gets 30%. She gets 30% of the money that is being generated. First of all, you don't say those numbers in a public spaces. I mean, that was weird for me. Listening to that, it's okay. You are being transparent if that is true, but saying okay, this person gets 30% for her work, nobody will agree. Okay, just saying this person gets a percentage is more than enough. Um, that was something interesting, and in that conversation, there are many more things that are. And were you there, Daniel, when this guy show up expressing that I want to know what an NFT is because I heard that you can make money with this, and I want to know because I would like to make money. What is an NFT?
No, typically I cut off during those conversations because they're long-winded, and I heard it like a million times already. So typically I just bounce
I
around.
had to interrupt and say, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have to tell you that it's okay that you want to make money with this, but I mean, most of the people that have been here for a long time and are still here because many of them are no longer in these places and are no longer in this ecosystem of NFTs are here not because of the money they could make. They are here because they believe actually in the technology. They believe in that this is actually changing the world. It's changing everything, and we believe in the technology. We believe in the philosophy behind this. It's not about the money. We are here. What motivates us is other thing. Of course, people want to make money. We want to make money, but we are still here. I mean, during this last year, that was a year that where then the numbers and the market were basically completely not favorable, not shit. Okay, most of a lot of people that were here claiming that okay, this is blah blah disappear. Some of us, like driving, for example, another few people are still here, and I mean, I made not a single cent. I don't care about driving, but okay, but I don't think that he's actually here. He didn't leave because of the market conditions. He is here because I think he believes in something that is not about getting rich tomorrow or night. And okay, I respect the fact that that person wants to learn, but sometimes I feel like in spaces we're willing to teach anybody whatever that they don't know what we might explain. But there are certain things that I feel people are abusing of our time. They're being really not acting in a proper way. For example, yesterday, not in this space, the person asking what an NFT was for, what was an NFT, what it stands for, non-fungible token. What is okay? Okay. Before entering and asking about an NFT in an NFT space, you can Google that and know what NFT stands for. You don't have to enter into space and ask what NFT stands for.
Yeah,
We
but
can explain you then everything,
the,
but that thing is that is so basic. You don't waste the time of a person
but
to ask.
the biggest sales pitch ever is repeating the same thing over and over and over again, right? I mean, it's like a song. If you're a singer, I mean, I'm pretty sure every singer just gets sick and tired of their own songs because they repeat them so
Oh, of
often,
course,
right?
yeah, I agree.
But if they don't,
Yeah.
I mean, they don't get those new customers or those existing customers, right? They have to repeat the message, and yeah, some of these maybe they're qualified as like more expert sessions, so you're not going to repeat those basics. And maybe other ones are beginner sessions. You want to onboard new people, so you are going to continue to repeat those messages. Maybe you get a new group of I don't know, salespeople. I don't know, but essentially it is needed, right? If the whole market thinks
Yeah.
this way, then the whole market will never onboard any new users, right? But
No, I would never have been able to actually get to know NFTs. I mean, I'm not an expert at all. I mean, far from being an expert, I know the basic. Yeah, I'm not an expert that I can guarantee you, but what I know thanks to people that share their knowledge here. When that thing that I wanted to know was something that I couldn't find an answer for in other places. But
no, but
I did my
if I look
research.
at the header for this messages, it says and it will survive, right? And sometimes you run into them by the fact that you know someone in that, and it puts it on top, right? But your
Yeah.
thing says NFTs, world news, and cryptocurrencies, right? So they would make an assumption right away. Okay, I could ask them a question about NFTs because that's the first thing on the list, right? Maybe if it was qualified in a different way.
It's usually a loaded question, though. You know, I find mostly it's the trolls that come in and start asking away like that type of thing, and I'm pretty good at spotting it because I've listened to people on Spaces all across for over a year now, right? So I can kind of point them out. And I'm gonna blanket shoot here, Alberto. But does this person have to do with the Gorilla Mansion project?
Um, and this person has to do with this a project that is regarding moons. Oh, a moon. A moon is very expensive.
Oh yeah, I caught
Do
that one. I
you?
caught that one.
Yeah, when he saw the
The
hold on, let me
the
tell
whole
you something.
PFP thing, yeah, that was funny. That
Yeah, hold on,
that
I
he's
will
a
send you
millionaire
something
because he
that
has
will.
that PFP. Yeah.
Yeah, that person was basically looking for people with money, and he was like having an orgasm when he saw somebody with a profile picture that was what I'm going to send you right now. Driving, um,
Yeah,
uh,
that was too funny. It was just like
maybe.
it was like that
Yeah,
little
when he
cat,
saw
the
that
cat
person,
with
he
two.
said, "Oh, Alberto, did you see the moon?" Yes. Oh, wow, that's an expensive one. Uh, okay. And then what happened when I went through the recording? Celine was actually Celine is the owner of that collection of those moons. Uh, okay, here it goes, David. Okay, that collection I don't know if you recognize. NFT collection. It's called the Moonbound Voyage Club. But
I think it was just the wrong audience to market it to.
no, absolutely. They were completely unprepared. That's what I pointed out when I asked them, do you have any kind of planification in terms of the spaces? And I tried to give them some, I don't know, okay, I'm, no, so I don't know. I just tried to give them some tips and they have no clue actually. Uh,
I mean, I don't really interject, and I like to listen to conversations. I just talk in small groups, but I like to just listen to the conversations because it's funny sometimes. But But and I
No,
go
for
into
me,
theme ones too. That is just a crack up.
no, but for me, from a psychological point of view, trying to understand the behavior, the dynamics of a group of people like that interacting, the human psychology in certain cases, in order to identify certain behaviors that can be linked to certain things, or I mean. I mean, when it comes to, I don't know, uh, trying to, I mean, social engineering and, okay, these guys from Gambia trying to ask for money. Okay, the fact is that first, hello, I'm sorry to interrupt, blah, blah, blah. Then all the problems about their brothers and sisters, then their father passing away the week before, the mother not having eaten anything for 3 days. Uh, and then, okay, when you explain to them certain things, then they become like angry, and then, oh, okay, I see you don't want to help. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to help me. And then you in a calm way, you say, no, it's not that I don't want to help. You don't understand what I say. Okay, but and then the crying part comes, and that's the end of the act. It's like when they are sounding like they are about to cry because they are being offended and nobody wants to help them. Okay, that is a pattern that right now it's like, okay,
I don't see that anymore, Berta. I used to see that at the beginning
I
a
think
year
that
ago, but
I
I
think
don't
that
see that
twice.
anymore.
I seen that twice in a week, which is amazing. After a long time, I see that one. Sorry, welcome. You have your hand raised.
Know everything if you're going to social engineer anything.
Very profound. What?
I just said that. It's just like, really, you got to know everything. You got to be able to play them on every level if you're going to social engineer any human. You need to understand every event that has happened to them, and you need to surprise them with events that they don't even realize they remember.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. That comes when it's a very targeted social engineering approach. Yeah, absolutely. The more you know, the more you. I mean, when you know what is the weakest part of a person, you basically own that. You have complete control of
Yep.
that person. Uh,
I'm not that good. I wish I was. I
I'm
try.
not that good. I mean, I'm really bad at reading people. My social skills are terrible. My communication skills are almost zero. But
Every
yeah,
piece is valuable, though, is my point, really. And I want to just give it up to what's his name? DA. All I can see with the owl face. Anyway,
I wish I could join. I bounce through groups, and I wish I could just put together like this group with this group and that group with that group, or that lead with that lead, because it's amazing sometimes that these people don't connect. But I think there's some beauty to making some connections that it's almost impossible to do in this platform. But there's some gems out there. It's pretty interesting.
there's some beauty also to being anonymous.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, it has some. I mean, yeah, it gives you some benefits, some kind of, I don't know if you call that advantages. It's not the same as not being anonymous, but
Yeah.
that pseudo perception of I mean, nobody knows who I am behind this profile picture and this username. Yeah, people actually do things, say things, behave in a way that they wouldn't normally do if they have to do it, showing who they are, the behavior. Yeah, people are are behaving in a different way.
Alberto,
Yeah.
you are not anonymous.
I know I'm not. I'm completely doxxed, and that has a reason. For I
Me too.
mean, it's not. Yeah. Well, yeah, but the thing is that I respect. I came. I mean, at first I didn't. When I started entering into NFT communities, for me it was okay. It was I had a lot of curiosity why people were so reluctant to show saying who they were. Then okay, I understood the reason behind all that, but at the when it comes to actually running projects and investing on projects related to NFTs, for me, it's absolutely no, not in this lifetime, putting a cent in a project where I have no idea of the name of the people that are running that project. I mean, that is something that I will never do. But okay, I respect if you are going to run a project like that and people are going to put money there. It's not going to be me, but it's something that I would not do. It's like putting money on a company. I mean, I have to know the credentials, the background of those people in order to know. Okay, this person has run like 20 successful projects in his career. He has this. Okay, I want to know that. That is gambling on. Okay, I hope that they have a good developer. Still, it's like hoping that the team has the skills in order to make it a successful project. It's like
Who's playing that?
Sorry, though. I'm all trying to figure out this stuff,
You know, it's
and
good.
I agree with
It's good to go
everything
through
he
each
said.
once at least, right? Yeah.
I totally doxed myself like 10 years ago because screw it.
You know that
I hacked for 10 years, and I'm like, all right, let me be a target now. That's all I'm saying.
no, it's just it's
well,
interesting.
imagine myself. I'm very vulnerable. I mean, and I don't give a fuck. I mean, the information is out there. You can approach me. Okay, try. I mean, I have accepted that it's part of the risk that I have identified is a risk, and that can happens. And okay, I have to deal with that. I have no problem. But
there's no
yeah, I'm
anonymity
vulnerable.
today, right? I mean, and I guess to your perspective that if you dox yourself or if you even kind of participate in any of these recorded sessions or any of these items, right? You're kind of just introducing information, right? For the most part, and like Alberto says, he's analyzing everything, right? You know, feelings, you know, keywords, different things, and you could expect that, right? Nowadays, you could expect a camera at every corner. You could expect that, you know, there's microphones at every, you know, device, and you know your Roku's listening to you, your phone's listening to you, your microwave could be listening to you now, your refrigerator could be listening to you. Everything has some sort of voice automation now, but to a degree you could remain anonymous when you have a really stable job, when you have a really stable environment, and you really don't need any social or external experiences, right? And then there comes a point where maybe you can no longer sustain that, and that happens.
I mean, if you are a hacker and you are doing something illegal, let's define
I would say
those
nobody
two
here
parts.
is doing that,
and nobody here would do that at all, period, ever in their lives. I'm just
Why
saying
do you say that? Why do you say that, Sean? I mean,
there would be no way
That's nobody.
there's no way I'd dox myself with this account and do anything that I might be inclined to do.
right? Yeah. So from that perspective, you would expect that anybody that is here has some good intentions. You're talking about social engineering. Social engineering, its practice is more pervasive than just for any hacking purposes, right? It's
Yeah, you're right.
It's
I'm
in every
giving you
market,
information
in
even
every
now.
field, in everything.
It's about
It is the gift
data
to be a social.
manipulation. That's it, right? I don't know if you agree. It's the art of manipulation. I don't know if you agree, but it's just following. There are certain methodologies that follow certain steps in order to get what you want. It's like, yeah, it's
Yeah,
you can learn that.
and I would say that the powerhouses at that are not the individuals. It would be the social media companies. When you talk about like echo chambers and different other aspects, right? It's not the individuals any longer.
Well, no. When it comes, for example, all the people that were getting hacked and victims of this scam running, okay, they were into NFTs and they were contacted for, okay, we want somebody like you for this project. Let's have a Zoom conference. Okay, then they were dealing with, they were offering a person something the person was desired. I mean, was something that, wow, yeah, I want that. Then those people were sending the person the link to the Zoom conference that unfortunately was not a link to a Zoom conference. It was linked to a malware code that was infecting them, and well, that's it. They just approve the person. They social engineer the person with that speech of, we want you to be part of this project, let's have a conference. And well, that's it, as simple as that. It was then just setting that Zoom conference to talk about it. It was pretty convincing.
It's built into the ego of people, you know. They have to build their personal brand, and they will tell you everything. And everything might be on LinkedIn, it might be Facebook, might be in their Twitter feed, might be anywhere. But, you know, once they have that, they are really trying to tell the world who they are. And really, they are giving you all the information everybody needs.
Which is meaningless if they have nothing, right? I have nothing, so
True.
I have
True,
nothing
true,
to
true,
fear,
true, true,
and I
true.
have nothing to give, and I have nothing to lose.
Yep. Absolutely. That's why I'm doxxed right now, and I'm coming at you face first.
Okay.
Son, you're coming in a little sideways.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be coming sideways. I'm just saying that people give all this information out like crazy. Like even these stupid Twitter, like I can't believe people respond to "What's your birthday?" on Twitter, or even announce their birthday on Twitter. I mean, that stuff is so easily scraped, and there's so much social networking that is just so easy, just because of the requirements of the companies to have an account. You have to list this info, that info, and then you invite other people to talk about your info and who you are. And if you put it all together, if you are a social hacker, you can put it together pretty easily. And it has all been provided by these companies to everybody, really. I'm sorry for coming off sideways.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, apologize. Sorry, I was having connection issues and I couldn't.
I would imagine that would apply to somebody that just started. Anybody that has ever been in the field and is truly in the field. I mean, I could imagine that the access to information that they've gotten and have been trusted with and have, come on unscattered with, and makes them, true professionals in what they do. It's kind of really the proof, not, it's typically the worry is somebody that's just getting into the field and just kind of testing things out, right? And which is mostly what
Okay,
happens.
yeah, I have to tell you, in the Eco Party conference last in November in Buenos Aires, there was a workshop about social engineering. It was a team from Chile that went there. Okay, it was it was amazing. I mean, yeah, as Sean was saying, the information people supply without actually realizing, it's so easy. I mean, they were basically stopping people in front of a camera saying, "Oh, we are making a research interviewing people." What password do you use for? Do you use a strong password for your Facebook account? Oh yes, okay. Is it strong? At the end, some people ended up saying what the password was.
Yeah, there was an artist who did a performance piece. I think it was in Central Park in New York, but he gave people free cookie, a baked cookie to give up their. It was a whole list of things, information, but it included like mother's maiden name, birthday, address, phone number. I think even a social security number. Like it was people gave it up
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
cookie.
When they're on the street walking about, I've seen all the security videos that they use for all the different cybersecurity type aspects, yeah, the street guy that's with the camera and asking everybody, to dox themselves, right? I mean, you don't know that it's one, true information, two, that they can go home and change the password the next day, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, Sean, I have a question for you. Are you actually? I'm curious. Do you work in the social? Do you do social engineering? I don't know. You don't have to answer that if you don't want. Just curiosity.
I guess.
I don't think anybody here would say they do.
Sean, 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 are you there?
I use it in sales all the time.
You used to what? Sorry, I didn't.
Use Tails as a browser or as an operating system. Is what you're saying?
Tails for social engineering. What?
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's not really social engineering. It's just what
It
private.
was yesterday that somebody asked this guy who. Okay, Sean, if you can speak, go ahead because we couldn't listen to you.
I especially like the DEF CON examples, right, where they make the phone calls to the companies to transfer to this company, to transfer to that company, to get a hold of this. Those are the best social engineering ones that I've seen.
Let's try to see. Yeah, let's try to see if Sean can speak because I couldn't listen. Sean, can you try to speak, please?
Minik is the god of this. He is so good at social engineering, and any every little bit of information he get about you, he would exploit. And I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I'm saying in sales, for example, if I'm going to try and sell you something, I'm going to go look at your LinkedIn. I'm going to go look at everything I can get about you, and I'm going to ask you questions pertaining to that that'll lead to the answers I need. And that's the brilliance of Mitnick.
Well, yeah, the thing is that I do the same when applying for a position in a company. Okay, who's going to interview me? Okay, yeah, LinkedIn about this person, not to mention about the searching as much as possible the company. I mean, me asking them about the company, certain things. I mean, it's about preparing yourself with the information and getting to know if you know enough who's going to interview you. You can actually, you are in charge of that interview and not the other person, and they don't realize that.
Right, but you're not trying to exploit the other person, right? Like there's the line is when you're trying to
preparing yourself. I mean,
rip off, not just sell something, but you're trying to.
It's an ethical thing that I mean, basically, you prepare yourself with information in order for that interview. It's not something that the information is out there, and you are not going to actually cause any damage or harm to the person or get anything from the person except
and that's expected. That's doing your homework. That's doing your research. That's not the bad connotation. Would be social engineering. Is like you said, exploiting, right?
That's what most of the social engineering is used for, is to con people, to to exploit them get them get their information so that you can then use it to exploit them. I mean, not all of it, but yeah, it's got to be the majority of you. The phishing sites, all that stuff is designed in order to get your information out of you and to trick you.
One of the best books I read was The Art of Manipulation. I don't know, it was like 12 step, blah, blah, blah. But the end was win-win or no deal was the approach. I mean, they start the book saying, this is a very powerful tool. I mean, you can do it and basically really get from create a damage in a person, get from a person uh, anything that you want. But this book approaches this as a way of getting certain outcome that you want, but in the outcome being a win-win deal at the end of it. So that is, from an ethical point of view, the approach of that book. But the thing is that it's not. It's
Have you seen that? Have you seen the Anna Delvey Netflix film or docuseries?
No.
If you, just because you're touching on the subject of social engineering, right? I mean, you kind of have to see that one, whether it's true to the facts or not. But it's really interesting in terms of the both sides of the coin, right? There's the person that's left holding the bag that gets used and might be thinking that they're using, right? Within that context of social engineering, right? Her story is really interesting. If not, I guess it's a good case example, even though it could be fictional to a degree, right? To kind of watch that and see both sides of the coin in terms of, who profits at the end and why do those cases flourish, right? Because I mean, there's some very smart people out there, right? I mean,
hey, can you post a link? I hope you post a link to that. Sorry, I didn't mean to take over.
Oh, the Anna Delvey is on Netflix.
So, social engineering seems like a new construct. It seems very malicious to me, especially the intent to gather the information for. But this isn't an old theory. And don't talk over me. But Dale Carnegie, wrote books like Win Friends and Influence People, which is a way more powerful method, and it's not an exploitation method.
It's getting actually make people do what, I mean, you're not going to make a person do something unless you can make them understand that they are doing that because they want to. It's that approach of how to deal with people in a way that nobody is going to do something they don't want to do. And if you get that person to want to do something, they will do it. So that book that is from 1930 something is the Bible for me, basically. The stories told there are amazing.
Well, the interesting thing,
they used to call it conning, right? Con artists. This is what they do. It's not anything new. They just have a new term for it. So it's a hacker connotation or something. But it's a confidence man. It's what manipulation. That's been around since humans been around. I think.
Yeah, but I think it's used out of context, right? That book has a really good stance and following. But let's take it as an example, right? Let's take that book from Dale Carnegie. So 2 examples of it. If it's read in jails, would you say it's social engineering? If it's read in universities, would you say it's very positive and very energizing and very corporate? I mean, it's sometimes it's the groups that you're dealing with and the context and biases that they have with certain people and certain things and who they target. That's why I see it.
I think it was mostly for salesmen, but I kind of see where you're going.
Yeah, before I go to you, Sean, for me, I will never forget the example of the guy who was flying, and the airplane had this problem. They were about to crash, and when they landed, the pilot was shaking because they realized that before taking off, the person didn't actually make certain check that should have been done, and when the person that was in the flight approached the pilot was like almost peeing on his head. He said, he punched in the back to him and said, "Don't worry, next time we fly, I want you to be the pilot because I am sure that next time you will not forget to do this." So, wow, that part in that book is amazing. John, go ahead.
Sorry, someone else go right now. I'm busy.
Well, car salesmen, they do the hard sell, right? That's part of it. FOMO, I started No FOMO Records because FOMO, or fear of missing out, is the enemy. It gets you to do makes you to stupid decisions because there's a time limit. If you don't invest in my crypto project right now, you're gonna miss a once in a lifetime opportunity. And then of course it's a scam. Yeah, they don't want you to look into it. They don't want you to think about your decision. You have to, this deal is only on the table right now. If you walk away, you won't get, that is all part of the hard sell, the con man. My wife and I went to a timeshare presentation because they gave us like a coupon and free breakfast and stuff, and they're gonna give you the hard sell. And I never planned on buying a fucking timeshare, right? My wife, at the time, we're divorced, but she was taking, like, she was mad at when I dragged her out of there. And then it wasn't until after we had left the room, and I explained, like, this is shit is bullshit. And then she looked it up on the internet and blah, 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 and it was like, oh, but she was ready to, like, mortgage their fucking house to buy a timeshare, right? These guys are good at what they do. That's all.
There's also like Sandler, and he had the pain funnel technique, and that was a really interesting one as well. And obviously, that one worked very well in sales and such too.
Adam Sandler?
No. What the hell? He had
No.
presidential something. I forget.
Always be closing, ABC.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Coffee is for closers.
I love that. Coffee is for closers, and I'm sorry that I didn't want to have to be peeing while I'm talking to you guys. You would hear it in the background and whatnot, so I cut out
Oh,
last.
it's okay. It happens to us. I mean,
So anyway,
even
that's
to
too
me.
much
You know what?
information right there that
No,
you
no,
can
no.
use
You know
it.
what? Once I went to the bathroom in the middle of a space, and I checked and I mute the microphone. I'm completely sure of that. But I went to the bathroom with the cellular. Okay. At one point, I heard a voice saying, "Alberto, your microphone is on." And I checked, and it was on. And I said, "Okay, what do I do now? Okay, okay, I'm not perfect. So what do I do? I grabbed the scissors. I created a clip of this, and I said, okay, I was busted. Yeah, happened to me. So I created a clip. I posted it on my timeline so people could hear that I was peeing on the bathroom. I wasn't ashamed of that. I mean, it happens to everyone. It's not like the end of the world. Can happen to anyone. It's okay. It's
I was
okay.
literally running to the bathroom though. The pee was about to come down my leg. I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta skip. Anyway, and I think I peed out everything I had to say.
Alberto, you've also fallen asleep with the mic on while you're snoring loudly into the microphone. Like me and a few other people were trying to influence your dreams, like talking to you. Yeah.
Well, the most amazing part was when I fell asleep within a space, and there was this trending of people that in those cases enter into the space, took a snapshot, and then tweeted tagging you. And one day I woke up and I had Jocelyn, the guy from the Monday's Tyson or that shit. I mean, so many people having taken screenshots of me there in the space alone. It was like, wow, that doesn't happen anymore. I don't know, but that was very common.
Your dreams are hacked. That's crazy.
Well, some people tell me that
does that count?
I can hack hearts of women, but that's something that have yet to be proven. I disagree with that.
I will say that I do manipulate people, but it's not in a malicious way. It is to get them to listen to what I'm saying. I know I've talked to you about this, Alberto, but the CoinHub account, where I would say things that are somewhat inappropriate or sexual or jokey, because the idea was, if people are slightly worried about what you're going to say, if you're unpredictable, then they really will listen to what you are saying. And my
Oh,
goal is
I
to
do
be
the same.
listened to.
I do the same. No, everybody in some way or another, we all manipulate others,
Perfect.
but it doesn't mean that we are doing that because we are bad people and we're going to cause any
Yeah.
damage. It's part of the human nature in order to, I mean, a mother trying to having her kid to take a medicine and blah blah. Okay, then the child being no, I don't want to. Okay, and the mother saying, okay, I will give you a candy if you do. Okay, they're actually manipulating the kid in order to do that. It's not because of bad intentions. It's because the guy deserves that. He doesn't want. Okay, she use certain techniques, certain things in order to get accomplish the task of getting that kid taking the medicine. It's nothing bad, but we all do that.
Okay.
It's all
But
human beings do that.
the
I will have to
medicine
say
is good
right
for the
now
kid.
that Front Run goes all out, and I appreciate that. And that
I'm
might be
on
something I
the
would say to you after I met you, because I already knew this. You know what I'm saying? And that's what social engineering is.
Well, yeah, and mine is much more selfish than I'll be getting a kid to take medicine. The medicine's good for the kid. But mine is just to people listen to me, right? Like it's purely selfish. I still don't see it as a bad thing. I don't see it hurting
No,
anybody. But so
it doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt anybody to make them feel good to talk to you. It doesn't hurt. They're giving respect to a person that is going to give you a positive. It's coming back positive just by saying that I know that you're a front runner, and I know that
Actually,
you're going to come back at me, right?
yeah, but actually,
And if I give you that just a little bit, you'll give me a lot more after that.
yeah,
It's just
you know
that's
what?
what social engineering is.
That's a problem that I have, and Concha is pretty aware of that. My problem actually accepting compliments. I really hate compliments. I really hate when people come saying, "Oh, you're wonderful, oh, Alberto." When people start saying those things to me, it's like, okay, red flag, red flag, red flag. I'm really terrible handling with compliments. So if you're trying to approach me in order to yeah, sorry, go ahead. Sure.
Wait, what's a front
No,
runner?
sorry.
Oh, I'm MC
I'm
front
just
runner.
saying. I just made a reference to his bio.
Oh well,
Oh, okay,
the
okay.
thing is that yeah.
Front running is a crypto and stock term though, and that was where I came up with the name. Also, DJ Slippage was my DJ for a while. Because if your slippage is set too high,
But
then you get
when I called you a front runner, did you think better of me, or do you think I'm a piece of shit?
No. I figured you had seen when you said I'd go all out. I know you'd seen my bio or read my bio. So yeah,
So
that's
you
all.
understood, and then we have some, something in common a little bit,
Yeah.
even though I don't have anything in common with you. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't go back and
Yes,
forth.
basically you are social
But
engineering
you are
Concha right
friendly and
now.
you're soft
What's the
in a
what's the
way, and I'm
cyber
not trying to
John,
keep
I know exactly who you are now that you said that.
We all know who you are, and that's not the point.
It looks like your profile picture is Jack, right? Or is it just someone who looks like Jack?
Me, John?
Yeah.
No, that's
Or is that
me,
your
John
picture?
Coates. That's
Oh,
my face.
you look like Jack.
I'm totally doxxed, so whatever.
I'm
But
saying
my
you look
point,
like
Stopped
the.
that
talking
has nothing to do
yesterday
with
on
my
his other
point.
account.
It's nothing to do with my point, really. Because I could use that one little thing to soften you a little bit for social engineering, because we're having a conversation now about me, right?
Yes. Yep, we are.
And
The
I can design that in any way, but what I did was throw out a couple of things I knew about you, just quickly grabbed, and you would respond to that positively. I'm pretty sure.
But know your audience, right? If everyone here
Yeah, that's my point.
has that awareness, then everybody here has that defense as well, right?
Yeah, we're all kind of like already on the other side of that, so it's hard to explain, but it's so much easier with people that are so oblivious. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are talking about social engineering right now, but to do it to somebody that has no idea what that even means is insane. It can happen so easily for everybody, and it's crazy what people will tell you. Like, even Kevin Mitnick back in the day would convince people just easily to just give up passwords and to give up information about networks and all kinds of stuff just by talking to somebody on the 1-800 number that they got.
That's why every company has a yearly training.
But that's brilliance right there. That is social engineering. Mitnick is the boss of that.
That's fraud.
Have you been able to actually meet him in real life, Kevin Mitnick?
I wish. I'd love to party with that guy. I'd buy him all the beers and the coffees or whatever he wanted, you know. I've chatted with him at some point, but
I just remember that he was in the cover of every 2600.
You know what? I have like 12 2600s just sitting here right like 3 feet from me right now from the old days. Hilarious. I'm from the old school days where I used to have a thing that could hack a phone where you could send tones into the phone. It was before Apple, and really, I think it was him. I think it was one of the Apple developers that developed it.
Well, actually, Captain Crunch was the guy that one of the guys. Then Wozniak, that group of people were all the gang that were that initial hackers that started fucking with all the telcos, creating dominating the world.
It was a Captain Crunch whistle, right? That's why you get the name, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It was a tone from a Captain Crunch whistle.
Yep.
But people would, Captain Crunch. But anyway, but let's get back into social engineering because, whatever. We all know this, right? And how do we make it better? That's the thing. There's so much information now that, it's ridiculous. Like, I tried to throw an example earlier with this.
Okay, this question might be sorry if it's overflow somebody. What are your thoughts regarding AI and the future of social engineering, and about a system being able to social engineer a human being?
And holy crap, AI, and I didn't even think of that really until
I heard that whole conversation from GP. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Well,
it's absolutely going to be used to manipulate. I mean, we're already being manipulated in multiple ways by software already, right? So it's absolutely going to be used. The thing is, like, none of this manipulation works on people who know it's out there, right? Like, it only works on the ignorant. So if we can educate others and ourselves about what to look out for, then we're okay. But the problem is you getting that message out there when you're that you're going up against people with unlimited resources, and you have none compared to that. So
I'm thinking I've even done it and I'm ignorant. And I think I fall into these patterns. You know what I mean? Like, where you just got to click these 3 screens to get onto this site or whatever. Google, log on with Google, click, 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 click. And you go through these processes, you know what I mean? And that's also part of social engineering, because if you can get into that, that cycle, and that's what's crazy is everybody's just programmed to be in a cycle. And once everybody's following the process, at what part of the process do you question the process?
Yeah, but that today that only happens with the cheaper phones, right? So it's the Androids. It only happens with the Windows. It only happens with certain things, right? It won't happen on an Apple phone as much. It won't happen on Ubuntu.
Yeah, Apple tracks all your location. All that data is collected by Apple and stored, just as it is with Google and Android and
Oh no, but he's talking about phishing, phishing
Samsung, Verizon.
versus the corporate, information that you're giving out.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I don't know. There probably is more on Android, right? Because there's more malware is made for them. But
I still
as far as privacy goes,
under
yeah. Go ahead.
humans wanting to hack shit. So at the end, I mean, it's never going to end. There is a kid that's born today that's probably going to hack the shit out of everybody. And I'm just saying that, yeah, I mean, technology cannot go forward fast enough for people to overcome it and understand what it's doing to them and adjust to what it's doing to them, and hack it and profit at some point of the process. Period.
That's what keeps everyone employed, and that's what creates progress, right? Complacency is the worst enemy of progress.
I agree. Brilliant. Yeah, but it's crazy that it's just never going to happen. There are as many reverse engineers as there are engineers. And as soon as people understand that, they'll understand how their privacy is being taken advantage of.
Well, we can. There's a solution here. We allowed. We as in the people. We allowed these companies to have a business model that is take every ounce of data that they can possibly get out of us, and then provide us. What do we get for the trade-off? We get personalized ads, right? Like it's fucking. It's a bad deal. We're getting a shit deal. I don't care about personalized fucking ads if it means that I have to, have this automated system listening to every single thing I ever say and storing it, right? I don't want that. Yeah. So yeah, we're getting a bad deal, and we still, everybody has a Google account. Everybody accepts it, right? Like they've gotten us to accept the loss of our online privacy, and that is a problem. We can take it back. We can individually we can support free and open source software and all the rest, but as a group, I don't know, we should hold these companies more accountable, and our governments.
You're so right. It's so you're so right. There's so many open source solutions for everything that we do. Even what we're talking about right now on Twitter, there's Mastodon. They don't have spaces for whatnot, but I'm just saying that there's tons of things that people could do. It was like 3 years ago, I was tasked to make a survival, like a bug out code bag for people. So what I mean by bug out bag, the world's going to end or whatever. And one of them was Mastodon in that with an Apache server and, like a whole, basically a Docker container that it just had everything they needed to communicate with the outside world. And it's so crazy that everybody doesn't have kind of one of those things in my mind,
Was it stored in a Faraday bag? I do have one of those.
I should have, and that's where I should have. I haven't gone that extra mile yet. You know what I'm saying? But I think that what I'm trying to say is everybody should have one of those. Everybody should have something like that. It's just
a backup plan, yeah. Something if it was the disaster, yeah.
Right? And you rock and you leave and you can communicate with everybody still. It's a weird thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
I would suggest ham radio. I have one of those as well. You can get your license or not, but that will still work. If the grid goes down, electricity, radio waves still work. You may need to have your own source of electricity to power it, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you'll still be able to communicate.
Absolutely. I mean, anything we need a technological bug out bag. That's what we need to create. I think there isn't one really that everybody knows about, and they should have, because they should have it. They just don't know they should have it.
What do you
Wait,
think should be
get
in
off
it?
the whole social stuff, but sorry.
No, sorry, I interrupted. What do you think should be in that bag? I would suggest the bag be a Faraday bag, EMP proof, and then also like a Bofang two-way radio.
Absolutely. And maybe there should be like an installation. Basically, you need to have like a server system with NPM or Java or whatever you need, really. But it needs to include a massive